Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, or evening, wherever you may be. When you're watching this, thank you so much, as always, for joining us. This is Miguel Antonio Barragan, aka Fight Fiend Migs, joined as always by my co-host Andrew. Don't get it twisted, Lapache, and this is the Mad Boxing Show, or Mad Boxing for short. As always, we appreciate you guys stopping by and listening to us ramble about the ongoings and inner workings of the boxing world and our thoughts and conspiracy theories. We had quite an event last night. This is primarily what the show's going to be about, essentially, with a couple of added stories, of course. But the primary talk of the town in the boxing world is the pay-per-view card yesterday put on by DAZN. Terence Crawford taking on Israel Madrimov, amongst other fights, of course, on that undercard. The card started relatively early in the day. They had the before the bell that DAZN does, where it's like free prelims on the DAZN app. A bunch of other things, of course. Wild scorecards. We can say a wild show with Eminem being there. I'm sure those of you who watched the show saw a car was given away, a lucid vehicle, some crazy stuff, things that we aren't used to seeing in a regular boxing pay-per-view. Definitely far removed from the HBO that we remember in the Showtime that we remember. It was quite the and it had fireworks and pyro. I'm sure you guys saw it. We'll get into that a little bit later on. But wow, what a show yesterday! Forgetting the results, forgetting the how the fights turned out, the action of the fights, the production value was pretty insane. The arena looked crazy. It was pretty dope. I gotta say, it was pretty dope. But before we need to get into all of those stuff, because plus, trust me, we got plenty of that to talk about. Andrew, what's happening, dude? How you doing?
This is how's it going, Miguel? First off,
Doing right. Thank you.
my night started off great. You
Okay.
text me when you text me the damn Anderson fight was already going. What was up with that, dude? What
Mm,
happened? 6 p.m. starts for these pay-per-view main events.
mm-hmm,
So that was kind of a bummer for me that I missed the Anderson fight, but I turned it on. You call me like at 5:54 or text me, right?
mm,
So I'm like, Junior, my son is fucking crying because he can't finish his Fortnite game with his team, right? He's on a team. My son does pretty good. So when he has like 20 kills, he's one of those kids that freaking start. They're gonna lose their mind if they have to get off the game that they're
mm,
doing a record-setting kill streak on. So I'm like, play whatever. As soon as you tell me the fight's already started, I'm like, Junior, off. Order it.
mm,
6 p.m. Bam, ordered.
mm.
Still on my couch. Why, Miguel, at 6:04? 6:04, dude. 4 minutes it let me tune in to the biggest fight card in boxing. The fight card that might save boxing. How about
Mm,
that one? How
mm,
about that one, you guys? The stars were there.
mhm.
The national anthem was being sang again in the middle of the arena, or yeah, the arena, right? Stadium,
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 stadium.
stadium.
Mm,
Um, the stars were back. LA showed up. You know what? LA showed up so big. Take Terrence back there. That's how big LA showed up from. They weren't a lot of A celebrities, but there was B celebrities and A celebrities all over that place. Legends all over that place. Boxers all over it. Nah, look good, man. That was a shot back. And a little added his excellency little twist, the fireworks. That was crazy.
mhm,
Yeah, that was what we see for the Super Bowl on Madden football. If you ever
mm,
watch Madden, some
mm,
of those shots that they're doing, and they probably do it in the Super Bowl too, if I really pay attention. But last night, the way the camera was shooting them and the shots that they were giving, yeah, very video game-ish.
mm.
Very cool. Kids are gonna relate to that big time, big time. Told you, Miguel, if I could learn Arabic, I would. I would have said thank you. I need to get Giovanni on it. He'll learn it. He'll go to YouTube. Be like, don't worry, Dad. I'll go to YouTube. I'll have you the words. And yeah, he does.
Are we going to hear you say it next week? Is that going to be
Oh
like
yeah,
your
dude. He
assignment
does.
for the
He
for the?
does another card like this, bro. He will have me thanking him. Nah, hey, listen. Fox in the hen house. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not.
Mm,
It's not hurting me. It's
mm,
gonna hurt all the other guys. But if he takes over, he takes over. We've never seen money like this being brought to the sport. What this guy is doing, bringing all these. I mean, come on, you said it yourself. They're all sitting. They weren't next to each other, but De La Hoya's there, Bob Arum's there, Eddie Hearn's there. We're all in the same building now.
mm.
When you ever seen that, Miguel? When
I
we
can't
ever,
remember the last
I
time I saw that.
can't remember the last time I watched a pay-per-view and three of the biggest promoters are sitting ringside.
Hmm.
Oscar looking like he was a the black goat of the family, or is that he's a black sheep of the
The black
family?
sheep.
But yeah, yeah, but whatever. He's got the Cepeda. They're like he's got that one guy. Oh,
Yeah.
and Ortiz.
No, actually,
It's
yeah, next weekend.
it
Yeah.
seems well because look, Cepeda's proven, Ortiz isn't. You know what I mean? But
Sure.
it looks like His Excellency does have an interest in seeing Ortiz move forward, so he is in the mix with two guys now.
Mm.
So as far as that, I went to my job. I take my time. I'm not gonna bullshit. You're on the clock. It's overtime. I knew I was missing the fights, right?
Mm.
I bought it. You know what I didn't know yet is if
Mm.
I could replay it once it's over. Do you just go back
Yeah.
to ESPN and replay? Okay, so
Yeah.
what I
No, no,
did is
the zone, not ESPN, the zone.
I ordered it through ESPN
Oh,
because I
oh, that
hate
I don't know. That I
because
don't know.
I hate I
to-
hate the zone.
Oh,
I
okay.
hate the zone. The zone, it sucks. Their thing sucks. Their
Ho-
feed
ho-
sucks.
so how the hell? What you can buy it on the ESPN? Because I didn't
Yeah,
know.
because you gotta remember Bob Arum was a part of this. So I asked Christina, I said, check your ESPN, check the ESPN app to make sure it's not there before we go through the zone and I'm fucking reloading and watching it freeze. And I was mad that I still had to hear those dipshits, but we'll get in that later.
Yeah, they weren't gonna have their own,
Yeah,
commentating.
I was
They
hoping
might have.
ESPN was going to have their own commentating. You know what I mean? But no, they did. They did. I did order it through ESPN, so
Mm.
I did that. That was fine.
So then
Feed
you
was
were able
great.
to watch it again, yeah? Because when I've
Yes.
ordered UFC pay-per-views, it does allow me to watch it again if I want to. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I did is after the fight, Christina, I was already on my way home. The fight was over, and she just hit rewind from
Mm.
right there live. So when I got home, it was on pause at the Andy Ruiz Miller fight for me.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right on. Right
Yeah.
on. So you got the best of both worlds. You're like, let me go on this job real quick, get some OT, get a little bit of cake on the side, a little cheddar, and I can
That's
still get
right.
home and catch the fights. That
That's
shit was
right.
nice.
Yes.
I work, of course, also Saturday mornings. I have a weird schedule for tens, but it was Saturday morning. There was a UFC card from Saudi Arabia, so I was working while I was watching that, and then eventually like the early prelims from DAZN started on the DAZN app, and then I was still on the clock while I was watching those. But yeah, I was able to catch pretty much everything. So that the zone has. I don't know. Do you think Ali or His Excellency would probably put some money into the zone and be like, "Hey guys, you need to get this goddamn thing fixed, man, because shit's happening all the fucking time." But yeah.
Michael Buffer was back.
Oh yeah, yeah, but just for the main event because home dude can only do so much. You can hear it like his lungs aren't there anymore. That rumble isn't as long as it used to be. But oh, what's funny? Funny that you mentioned that because I was expecting because it was the zone to see David Diamante there. Do with the dreads, and
Right.
it was someone else, and I don't even know who the hell that guy was. But I was like, who's this dude? I was like, what the heck? But I don't know, giving other people a shot. I guess I don't know. Maybe Diamante had the night off or for whatever reason, was able to make it. But yeah, it was that guy, and then Michael Buffer in the very end. Kind of felt like old times.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. What I don't understand, where's Lampley? Why does Lampley do a podcast on boxing, but he's not trying to get involved back in the commentating and save us from these?
Mhm.
Is it
It-
just that he couldn't get with these guys? Is Lampley too smart for the DAZN crew?
you know, I don't. Well, maybe,
He
maybe. I'm
might
not
be.
sure if that's the reason, though. I think he knows nobody did it like HBO. So he's like, no, either I work with those top self motherfuckers or none of these people. I'm not gonna do this bullshit and like
See
decline
his
to some
thing.
degree.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hear you.
So he's like, no. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if him being because I mean his vocabulary. Jesus Christ, man. Sometimes I hear him and I'm like, fuck, I don't know what that means. I gotta pull it up real quick. But
Sometimes
his
just the
vocabulary.
way he called the fight too, though, right? Sometimes it was the way he called the fight. He was were sometimes biased. Yes,
Mhm.
Merchant I think was more biased for HBO than Lampley was. But when Lampley, his voice would be cracking, or he
Mhm.
would, like the El Rayo. Is that how you say his name? El Rayo.
Valenzuela.
Venezuela. Yeah. How
Yeah,
do you
yeah,
say it?
Rayo. We just say
Rayo?
Rayo. Yeah, we don't say the L, but yeah.
How how he was talking about his parents coming over
Mhm,
here. Yeah,
mhm.
Lampley would have brought that in a lot better than those guys,
Yeah.
right? You know
He
what I
totally
mean?
would
Like,
have. And you know what's
yeah.
funny? You mentioned that, yeah, because I mean, we know Lampley doing it, but one example that pops to my head is when Juan Manuel Marquez fought Michael Katsides, and Michael Katsides had recently lost his brother leading up to that fight, and then Katsides drops Marquez like in the second round. Dude, fucking Lampley almost loses it. He's like, he's fighting for two people in that ring tonight. It's like, oh shit, it got all fucking like
That's
intense,
right.
you know? It's
That's
like,
right.
fuck that. We do miss that about Lampley, no doubt. Fuck, man. But I know Lampley was there actually and Merchant because I saw like pictures of the press conference and fight week.
Wow, are you
Yeah,
serious?
so I'm
Merchant's
sure.
alive?
Yeah, dude. I mean, he looks bad, but I mean, he looks like he's like he's standing. He's standing. It's just a picture of him and Lampley, right? And they both are
That's
great
so
out, right?
fucked up.
I'm just saying,
Dude,
dude. Like,
yeah, he looks bad, but he's there.
bro, I went to like a fucking like a Victor Ortiz fight back in like 2009, and he was already sick, and home dude is still around. It's like I don't know what the fuck they're doing, bro, but cryologically, what's that? With the cryo freeze, like that they put Austin Powers in or something when he goes to fucking sleep at night, bro. Because yeah, this was like 2009, 2010 when I saw him, and this was I mean, obviously HBO was still around, but he was no longer with HBO. And it's funny, like we happened to see Lampley. It was at the MGM or not Lampley Merchant, and we see him walking around, and then somebody says oh what's it, Larry? Like Larry, I hope you're doing well, man. Like at a distance, like, oh Larry, I hope you're doing well, man. I know what you're going through. He says that, right? And then I keep saying Lampley. Merchant turns around, he's like, no, no, you don't. And then he kept walking, right? I was like, oh shit, right? I don't know what the fuck that was about. But anyway, point is, he was sick back then, or his health was declining from back then, and he's still around. So I
Wow.
don't know what he's doing, but nonetheless, yes, I did see pictures of Lampley and Merchant during fight week there in LA. So they were there. I don't know if they actually went to the fight, but they most certainly were there because I've seen some interviews of people having, requesting their a quick little interview with them and their thoughts on the fight. But yeah, Merchant is still around. All right. Well, yeah, we can. I guess we can kind of get the story crack. Like, and first off, if you guys didn't watch the fight, I could just, spoiler alert. I guess Crawford got the victory. Right, got himself the win. Was it? I didn't even notice. Was it a unanimous decision? Yeah, it was unanimous, right?
Yes.
All
Yes.
three judges had it for him. Two judges having it at 115, 113, 7 rounds to five. One judge having it 116, 112, 8 rounds to four in the decision, and the new champion, the new 154 belt champion. Was it? I want to say it
WBA.
was WBA belt. Yeah,
WBA.
WBA super welterweight champion. We have ourselves. He's the contender now, right? He went ahead and got what he needed to do. Did you want to get started on that fight first, and then go into the undercard, or do you want to build up to the undercard? What do you think?
I said we start from the undercard, move our way up. It was listen. I
Mm,
thought Andy Ruiz got the same what is it? Applause from the crowd,
mm,
cheers from the crowd that the main event guys did. I mean,
mm.
this card was stacked. They were there to see it. I felt sorry for Andy Miguel. Off for 2 years and the crowd loves you that much, kid. How much money did you leave on the table being out for 2 years?
Mm.
Think
Oh,
about
I
it,
don't feel sorry
Miguel.
for I don't feel sorry for that
Well,
motherfucker
you
one
know what
bit.
I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. When he's
I'm saying he
broke and
missed out.
he's
He missed out.
old, yeah,
Yeah.
he missed out on money, man.
Mm,
He looked like a fan favorite yesterday. That fight was early, and that
mm-hmm,
crowd was there to see him. That's a
mm-hmm.
shame Al Heyman kept him out of the ring so long, or he kept himself out of the ring so long. Whatever is the issue there. Um, we can start with Andrew Ruiz because he
Yeah.
was a big figure last night.
Yeah, well, actually, hold on. Before that, the upset of the night, I guess that would be. Well, actually, there were a couple of upsets, but the upset of the night, um, real big baby Anderson
Oh
getting
shit!
his first defeat, losing to Martin Bacoli, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. Gentleman from Congo, the Republic of Congo, I think they said. Wow. Dude, like the size difference was crazy,
Big.
and it's one of those things where I don't think people realize how much of a difference you two heavyweights can have because the heavyweight division, there's no limit, there's no weight limit. So I think when there are guys who are big and agile, guys like George Foreman that are fucking 200 and some odd 50 some odd pounds, huge dudes, and this guy and Jared Anderson looked small, small compared to him. Um, in the end, Bacoli, if I'm pronouncing his name right, Martin Bacoli, we might have to get that name right because the dude might be a major player in the heavyweight division. Gave Jared Anderson his first loss, not just a loss, but a pretty bad ass whooping. Like it's
Yeah.
not, it, it it's one of those things where you're happy that the fight ended when it ended, because going 10 rounds like that would probably be detrimental to fucking Anderson's career. But he got dropped, I believe, a total of 3 times. The second time he damn near fell out of the ring, and he it looked like he just could not. And to his credit, he was moving forward for a lot of the fight, probably not wisely, because he probably should have used more of his boxing skills and stayed on the outside. But I think once he got tagged, I think it was at the end of the first round. Once he got stunned, he wasn't. I didn't seem like he was able to recover, and it was a knockout loss. Afterwards, he seemed to be in pretty good spirits. Like he's just like, damn it, and he kind of taking accountability, right, and responsibility, saying that he probably didn't listen to what his corner was telling them to do. I don't know if he came in there maybe overconfident, but I want to say Chris, was it Todd Grisham or Chris Mannix, one of the two, talked about how if Top Rank had their say and had it go their way, they wouldn't have let Anderson fight this Bacoli dude. They would have had him fight somebody else, at least not yet, at least. But apparently, whatever money was offered to him, went ahead and accepted it, and we got ourselves, maybe a new player in the heavyweight division, a nice fresh face. That sounds nice, right? Wow.
Who did that guy lose to though? It was kind of a weak Chris
I don't.
Virgil Hunter. No, not Virgil
No, no,
Hunter.
no, no, no.
It's something Hunter. I know Virgil's
Oh, Michael Hunter.
Michael Hunter.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, but
So,
and that was, and then the funny thing is that we
so,
don't know. Oh, go ahead.
so is it him or is it Anderson? Right.
Mhm.
Um, dropped 3 times. I thought Sean Porter's excuse is one of the lamest things I've ever heard them say.
Oh, I
He's
didn't
only
hear it.
20. He's only 24, Miguel. He can't take a punch of a 31-year-old yet. Have you ever heard anyone say that in boxing?
No.
You need to grow into your chin.
Uh,
He's only 24. He can't take a grown man's punch. It was just, I'm like, where is anyone else listening to what the fuck's being told on? Am I the only one? This is the entertainment I got to bear with. Like, yeah, hey, you got to grow into that chin, buddy. Don't worry about it. You got
yeah.
knocked out. Totally not your fault. 2 more years, you'll take that punch. What?
Uh,
Did Mike Tyson not win a title at what, 19 or 20 years old? You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Just weird. So yeah, I knew I was off to a bad night when Porter opened up with that one. Because I caught the very end of the Anderson beatdown.
Mhm.
And then they went to him and her up there talking about the fight. We never liked the kid, Miguel.
Mm-hmm.
Be honest with you. To me, he was never like the. How many times did we say he didn't show the skills of like
Yeah.
what a prospect is supposed to look like? That wow factor. Well, guess what? Add questionable ass chin to his skills that don't give you that wow factor.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we have now? He's got a
Well, so
long.
is it a questionable chin, or is it just because Bacoli, fucking can crack?
There's a lot of guys that can crack, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
the heavyweights are a bunch of big men in there, and and I don't take that as. And I'm not saying you're throwing excuses. I know this is what was being said last night, but I don't take that whole. He's too big. He's big. Jared Anderson's fought many big men. He's sparred many men. They knew what they were getting in the ring with. He just got handled. He got handled, and the going got tough. He got dazed. He got rocked. He got dropped 3 times. That's not a flash knockdown when it keeps happening. He couldn't handle it. I did like his response after the knockout. He's not really hurt, right? He's like, damn it. He didn't blame anyone. It seemed like he was blaming himself right there. I like that about him. That's good body language. Now he needs to go back to the chin and the gym and grow that chin. Call Sean Porter and see what you have to do to take a better shot 2 years from now.
Yeah. Sean Porter's gonna be like, all right, you're gonna have to use your head a lot. Okay, just go in there, use your head a lot. Okay, thanks, Sean.
It's like it's live TV, dude. I didn't know what to say. So I just
Yeah, you know what? There was a couple. I don't want to keep harping on how bad the zone is, but fuck, sometimes, man, some of those, like, I don't know who that lady is who is like, it's not ringside, but it's like back here,
Yeah.
when
Her and
John Cena,
Porter.
yeah, I don't know. Sometimes they're like little banter. It's just like, what? This is weird. Like it's awkward, man. Like I don't know. So sometimes it becomes a little awkward between the two, and it's like I'm not even sure. And it's sort of kind of like the way it was at first with Chris Mannix and Sergio Mora, because they were always like taking shots at one another on the air. I was like,
Yeah,
what the fuck is this?
yeah.
I get joking around, but we're kind of on air guys.
They
You
seem
might have to be.
personal sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they seem personal.
Yeah, and even right now with that, I don't know her name, I forget her name, but she said something to Porter, and Porter was like, "Oh yeah, I'm not gonna get into it," and then it was just like, she was like, "Oh, yeah, some a little personal there. Okay, back to I was like, "What? Why even say that? What the? Oh god, these people." I hate to kick them when they're down. I mean, I'm sure they got. I don't know. We'll see what the pay-per-view numbers did, but sometimes the DAZN people. Yeah, I don't know. But what I was going to get to, and one thing that we kind of sort of briefly overlooked back a few weeks back when Jake Paul fought Mike Perry on the undercard of that fight, we had this dude take a undefeated prospect. What's his name? Ashton Silva, right? It was a like candidate of knockout of the year. I don't know if you've seen it. I'm gonna send it to you. But basically, this dude Lucas Body knocked him out. They were both undefeated, right? Both prospects, but Silva was coming up. It looked like he was doing whatever he wanted to do. It seemed like an easy fight, and then he gets caught and it goes face down. Everybody talking about how this dude might not be the same because of how bad that knockout is. Fast forward to now seeing Jared Anderson and his first loss, and pretty much being a pretty serious ass whooping. Granted, he wasn't knocked out face first the way Silva was a few weeks ago, but um, everybody's saying he's the young cat. He can come back still, right? Yada yada. How bad do you think a knockout like this will affect him? Because it's not just the loss; it's the TKO. He was getting hit with everything, and you can see the punches. Like his face was a bobblehead, his head was a bobblehead, basically. Yes, I'm sure he can come back, right? He's gonna be a young cat, but how much do you think this is gonna affect him moving forward?
We won't know until we see his next fight. But what we do know now is all the opponents are gunning for him. The blueprint is out, as Andre, Floyd, and all of them used to say, right? We have a blueprint. I think Oscar said it about Felix years before anyone. Um, Bernard, they all said the blueprint. And now we know the blueprint is out on Anderson. They know how to beat him. You might even say you can get into his head a little, right? Because some of that looked like he was just taking shots. He kind of just had his hands up. He wasn't. He was checking out maybe of the fight. Like I said, after the ref waves it off, I like that he said, "Damn it," like to himself. Didn't look at the ref and go, "What are you doing?" Some guys want to blame the referee or
Sure, sure.
act
Like
like
I'm
they're
still good. I'm still good.
yeah. Then they start throwing punches like, bro, it's already over. He waved it off, dude. So
Yeah.
don't start now. So he didn't do any of that. But yeah, no, I think everyone that's his next opponent's gonna be licking their chops, right? The guy's been beaten. He's been stopped. Top Rank is gonna bring him back as a prospect again, and now everyone is gunning to knock out the prospect, and he's already been knocked out.
So maybe like you said, the blueprint is out, but can people follow the blueprint? Because one of the things that fucked them up was the power. How many people have that kind of power? Uh,
True.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
true, but it's the heavyweights, and they still have video to watch now, right? They have hope, and they should have always had hope. Anderson was never really that guy. Sorry, I'm
yeah,
sorry. If we can go back, you would have heard this show say it a few times about him. I
mhm.
don't see it, and then you bring in the outside troubles,
Oh
the
yeah,
court appearances. I don't even know where he's at in that case. Was that in his head? Does he have a new case? Has he broken any more laws? Has he pissed off any
yeah.
more judges?
Did he do anything last night in Los Angeles that's gonna probably cause him to be out of the ring a little bit longer?
Yeah, hey, I know. I like the guy who brought in the total gang ties. Wasn't that his opponent? Or no, that was Miller on. That was
Oh
Miller.
yeah,
He
that was
brings
Miller.
in the crip. The fucking. I was like, oh, all right, there you go.
Yeah,
Hey, that's a good way to walk around Los Angeles, I guess.
yeah,
Just
uh,
don't go to Training Day's neighborhood. Where's that neighborhood in Training Day? Those
yeah.
guys, they don't like blue over there. No.
No kidding. Yeah, let's not do that. And then did you see that he had like police on the back on the? I mean, we'll get to
Yeah.
Miller
Yeah,
later
yeah,
on,
yeah. I
but
seen that.
that just kind of threw me off a little bit. But to just kind of wrap up on this, yeah, don't forget the name Martin Bacoli, because we might have a new fresh player, in the heavyweight division where we kind of needed it, right? Like we were all looking at people like Anderson as potentially the next name or the next face of heavyweight boxing, because how much longer is Fury going to be around, or AJ, or Usyk, guys up there in age? And we were looking at the 24-year-old, Anderson, and then kind of he might have to take was going to have to take a step back. Now, a fresh face is
No, you
not
didn't
bad.
hear what Bob said?
No, well, I heard a
So
lot there.
Bob went and seen him in the locker room,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, he's seen where he's like, I don't care. He said, I don't care at first,
Mm.
and then Bob was like, it tells him, and he's like, yeah, Bob, yeah, yeah. I was like, you got to watch, better watch what he say to Bob Arum. You'll take that you'll be gone with Top Rank. He talked back to him, because obviously, if Bob asked him not to do the fight,
Mm-hmm.
and he signed to do the fight. Now,
Mm-hmm.
who was right, right? That was one of those moments where and I think that's why he goes, I don't care what anyone thinks. I'm just going home to my daughter. He says that to Bob Arum again. I know he said it after the fight, but he says it in the locker room to him. But Bob is like, oh, we're just going to move forward, act like this didn't happen. So
Mm.
that's their plan, is to act like it didn't happen. No rematch, no nothing. And he's going to go back
No.
to fighting. He's going to go
Yeah,
back to
why the
fighting
hell would you
bums.
just we'll see how far Bacoli gets, like
What
a
was the
fresh face.
record of Bacoli? Like, how good is his record? I know he had one loss, but wasn't he still like under 20 wins too?
Good question. Let me look it up real quick, because
Yeah,
right offhand I don't remember. Let's see here. So
and I know he was 31. I just don't see
yeah,
the future.
21 and 1, 21 and 1,
21 and 1. All right, that's not too bad. That's not
16
and
KOs. That's not too bad. Yeah, his only loss is to Michael Hunter, and it was by TKO. So he did get fucked up by
okay.
Michael Hunter, and it was in the last round of that fight, from what I can see here. So yeah,
How
it looks
long
like this
ago
was
was
recent.
that? How long's he been undefeated for?
Um, Let me see. 2018. He lost in 2018, so a while back.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
bad.
you would like to see this one rematched, but
Mhm.
it didn't sound like Bob Arum was interested in the rematch off what he told Anderson immediately after the fight.
Mhm.
So that, yeah, I guess the young man gets to move on and basically takes Anderson's prospect spot at this moment,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's like he basically just, he thanked, Anderson for giving him the fight, because he's like, damn, this is kind of my one shot. This is for those of you
Unknown.
who,
Yeah.
yeah, the unknown. For those people who, are know anything about boxing, when you get this chance, like, you fucking go balls to the wall. Madrimov, fuck. When you get that one chance, you have to go out there and just, lay it on the line, because that's, yeah, yeah. So we'll get to that a little bit later on. But yeah, for those of you guys, when this is your one shot, you go balls to the wall, and don't leave any regrets. Leave it all in the ring. And Bacoli did absolutely that. So congratulations to Martin Bacoli. Remember the name, because chances are you're going to be hearing his name and seeing his face again, because of that great performance. And hopefully, the Anderson can come back, because it was thankfully, again, it was only 5 rounds, so it wasn't like a sustained ass whooping for 10 rounds, which probably could be worse. But the fight ended when it ended, and that's probably to his benefit. But great fight. I think it was pretty entertaining. The first upset of the night, because there were a couple. So all right, so we can close that one out. Then now we can go to the Ruiz and Miller debacle. For those of you who don't already know, of course, the results of that was a majority draw, where two judges had it 114-114, and I don't even remember what the other judge had it, the score. Once I heard the other two judges, I was like, fuck this. This is gonna be a draw. Um, the fans weren't pleased. The fans weren't pleased with the decision, but you know. They're behind Ruiz. Of course, you can hear it, but a couple of times you can hear some boos in the crowd, like, about Ruiz. Steve Kim talks about this quite frequently. I follow him on social media. He says it all the damn time, how bad inactivity can kill somebody, can kill a fucking boxer. That inactivity, and he harps on it all the time, right? Every time I see it, and I'm sure I haven't looked them up today, but I'm sure that's going to be one of the talking points of the end result of this fight with Miller. So it ended up being a majority draw. Um, it was kind of a snooze fest. You can tell that Ruiz was tired. You can see it in his body language. You can see it in his face. Actually, it's not just the way his body language is, but how expressionless his face was on a few of those occasions. And it seemed like from the fifth, maybe
That's
sixth round of
right. Damn.
on there.
Yeah. Yep.
It seems just like downhill from there, and Miller took advantage of it. And to Miller's credit, even though he's a huge dude, he came in, pretty good shape. I mean, let's hope he doesn't test positive for anything. Oh, we can say that right off the bat because of his cocktail that he had before that got him suspended for a couple of years, and having to fight somewhere in France or Spain or wherever the hell he was before he made his way back to the U.S. But it, I, for Miller, I feel for Miller because he did what he could, and he came on late. I think he did enough to have gotten the victory. But in the end, the judges didn't feel that way, and ultimately came away with a majority draw. I mean, even though Ruiz kind of saved his image to some degree because he didn't lose, at the end of the fight, he was saying, "Hey guys, let's do a rematch." He's cool with that. I was like, "Oh, all right, I'm down with that." I would have thought maybe I would hear that from Miller's side, saying like, "No, let's get this damn rematch going. Let's run it back," right? With that kind of an intensity, it didn't come across that way, at least from Miller. But I like the fact that Ruiz was like, "You know what? This wasn't a great performance. All right, let's do it. Let's do it again. Let's run it back." All right, I'm cool with that. I'm down with seeing them again. Shit, I mean, if we're gonna get a better performance out of both guys, if we get the same performance, I should say, out of Miller and a better performance out of Ruiz, I'm down for that. But Andrew, what did you see? What did you think about the whole fucking draw?
I thought me and Miguel said last week these two were friends, and now we have a draw
Uh,
and possible rematch. What way to help out buddies?
mm,
2 checks, 1 fight. So that's what I thought first. I was like, son of a bitch, a
mm,
draw. Of course it would be a draw. You know what? Their
mm.
weight makes it a draw. We should have seen how fat both fucking guys are and been like, that's 5'5", that's 6'6", right? I could see that easily happening because they're both overweight. They got to like do the math to get to the end of the fight, probably, right? So,
Mm.
damn it, we missed one there, Miguel. The draw. Should have at least looked at the draw for 2 buddies.
Mm.
2 buddies that are overweight. One's coming off of steroids and the other one's coming off of fucking 2 years of being inactive and eating hella. What did he say? Tacos and cheeseburgers? What was his famous? Or burritos and
Burritos, yeah,
burritos and
something.
nachos? Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. Burrito and Anderson Miller caught him eating chili dogs. So it ain't just burritos and nachos because he was eating chili dogs out in New York the other day. So it's an unhealthy 2 years off, I guess is my point, Miguel. We had Andy winning that fight. Damn it. I underestimated that 2 years. He's so overweight. That's an unhealthy 2 years. The guy, ask Lennox Lewis is going to tell you he's unhealthy when he's in fight shape. It is what it is. His hand speed didn't work and his power wasn't there. Might have broke his hand too. Probably did.
Yeah, they did. I want to say he confirmed it after the fight. But like, I don't. Again, I didn't hear the fucking talk, the post fight talk. But did he specify when in the round or when in the fight did he break his hand? Because his hand did look in pretty bad shape.
No, but maybe that's when his face expression changes. I bet you it's going to be that round.
Yeah, I can put money on that it was on that exact round.
It was when he started looking like a little puppy. He turned into a fat little boy. Like it was like, hey, Andy, where's Andy at? Bring Andy back. He started looking nervous. Now we probably know it was a broken hand. Every time he hit it, it might have been flopping around. Who the hell knows? Felt the wrist going back and forth. It's things we don't know about that they're dealing with mentally inside the ring. That's why when you have those cold-faced fighters, a baby-face assassin like Barrera, they don't change. You know what I mean? Their face expressions don't change. Andy's definitely did. Andy looked like he was a little bit nervous. He was either nervous that the big guy wasn't backing down to his hand speed or his power, or he was nervous every time he threw the right hand. He knew there was a problem inside that glove. So whatever the case, I don't have him winning the fight. I got that one wrong. Shout out to Miller for being able to go 12 rounds coming off of the big cocktail conspiracy thing. Because I don't care what he was doing in those other countries, fighting in gyms across the globe, high school gyms. Last night he was under the big lights fighting a top 10 opponent. That's Andy Ruiz, one of the best. I know he had the special circumstance of coming in off 2.5 years, but he's still one of the best. As far as rating wise, He won the fight. I mean, listen, he's in with the good guy right now. Turkey Ali Sheik. Is it Sheik?
There's a K at the end. I think
Sheik.
there is. So I'm almost positive there's yeah.
Shay. Is that what they were saying? Ali
Oh,
Shay. I thought they were saying that last night. I'm gonna call him Sheik until they correct me. And I don't know if I should be listening to Zone anyways. I need Lampley, but whatever. We get over that. Where was I gonna go with that one? He's in a good position with him. Look, he just fought. Yeah. He just fought on one of his cards. He's already back, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And this one, everyone liked him. Might have been the winner of the fight. He's coming back. He's coming back. So look, him and what's the other guy's name? Bulky. Bukaki?
Bukaki.
Not
a Bukaki.
I told my wife I was going to slip that in there. Sucking Bukaki.
Martin Bukaki, because he was Bukakiing all over Anderson's face. That's what the fuck he was doing, whooping his ass. Yes, but Coley, yeah, I know.
Coley, there you go.
Somebody did mention that though. Like I don't remember if it was Mora who said it, but they were talking about maybe something like that. I know because they didn't know prior to this fight, of course, how that fight with Coley and Anderson was going to show up, was going to happen. But yeah, that's not a bad idea. I mean, like unless if they don't go to an immediate rematch with Ruiz, yeah, I would be down with that because again back to the inactivity. Miller's last fight was a loss to Daniel Dubois back in December, so it's not that long ago, 6 months. So he's got some more activity than fucking Ruiz. But what were we gonna say?
Oh no, you're absolutely right on that. No, he was in way better fight shape, and that's a fight I forgot about. So he's been under the big lights. This is his second time under the big lights. So hey, stay off the steroids. Maybe you do have a career here, right?
Yeah.
Now, if he doesn't get another knockout the rest of his time, then we'll know, okay, maybe that's why he was on the juice. He's got the energy, but he don't have the fucking power for the heavyweight division. But that's for another day. We'll give him he's got room here. So no, definitely bring him back. And I only say match them two up because that's what it seems like His Excellency's been doing right now in these fight cards, right? Puts on a card and then the winners kind of matches them up. And he's even given losers another opportunity. Like I said, Deontay Wilder was about to get another shot if I think he wouldn't have gotten knocked out, the way he did against Zhang. He would have been on this card too. So yeah, no, I'm at this moment in the fight card, I'm like, all right, I like what's going on. Listen, I like the stands. Okay, stands are packed. Don't know if it's a sellout though, Miguel. Mm-hmm. Okay, you agree with me?
Yeah, I was a little when I saw that initial post on Instagram. I was like, oh damn, okay. And granted, there's going to be an area of the stadium that's going to be completely off limits as far as seating goes, because there's where the stage is, there's where the entrance of the fighters are. I get it. So, and by that sense, everything on this side is sold out. I'm not sure about that because, to be honest, when they were announcing the winner of the car, which we'll get to later, the person who won the car, they pan out to that area in the section. There's a lot of empty seats. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's either everyone's wearing gray or the seats when they're folded up are gray seats. I'm just saying. I don't know which one it was. It just maybe everyone had gray shirts. Maybe everyone was dressed like Mark Davis that day. That stupid fuck in his white pants. So yeah, I don't know if I seen that, but I like what I'm seeing. I like the Hollywood stars, bro. Like I'm saying, we're seeing actors, and we haven't seen actors in a boxing match for a while. So, and I digging that there were shots where you seen actors behind the guys that they were actually showing. That's a good thing, right? There was actors they didn't even show us last night.
What do you mean? I don't get it.
Like, say they were showing Scottie Pippen, but behind him was an actor from a TV show and then another actor that yeah. So the one shot where Mike, it was Lomachenko, Julio Cesar Chavez, and was it Mike Tyson? Maybe it was Mike Tyson. That was a cool little shot right there. The cameraman got, just all these legends sitting in there. The three promoters sitting there. Or in the stands. I can't say they were together, but they're in the stands. Just everything so far, I was liking what I'm seeing on LA. LA stepped up big. Remember, I've been giving LA some shit on their boxing fans here for a while. just seemed like LA was moving more towards the MMA, where at least last night the stars showed up. You know what I mean? Dude, that Andy Ruiz applause that he got from the crowd, that was huge, man, because that's early. That's
Mhm.
early in the day. The Mexicans showed up for him, so that was very cool. Give everybody an idea to go back to LA.
Mhm. Yeah, and funny, I think before the fight, I think it was Sean Porter who also predicted Ruiz was going to get the victory. I mean, they didn't turn out that way, but ultimately he got, got the draw. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to say there was, before, I don't remember how early in the card or in the program, but the camera guy was like basically panning through all these empty seats, which was basically had the labels of which celebrity was going to be sitting there, come fight time, and they went to one that had Johnny Depp. Did you see Johnny Depp? I don't know that fucker showed up.
No, I know.
Okay.
I heard he was supposed to be there. They say they announced it during the telecast too. They're like
Mm,
Johnny Depp's, and they never get a picture of him. So maybe
mm.
he doesn't show up. Maybe,
Yeah,
yeah.
his CC Pro, because I there was a they had Tyson one, they had another one. One of the times that they put the camera on, I don't even remember who the hell it was. All I remember is behind whatever celebrity they were. To your point earlier, when they were panning in on a certain celebrity, behind him was that one black girl from the scary movie
Yeah.
franchise, right? I don't know
Yep.
her name,
Yep.
but I was like, oh shit, that's the chick, from that funny scene where the ring girl comes out of like the TV and she's like fighting and stuff like that, right? From
Yeah.
the scary movie franchise. So anyway, they came out, with Scottie Pippen. I was trying. Obviously, Eminem was there. Obviously, Chavez was there. Those guys. I was just like, damn, this is people came out. So it was cool. It was cool to see
Vince
that it
Vaughn.
seemed.
Vince
Oh,
Vaughn
that's
was
right.
there.
Vince Vaughn was
Yeah.
there. Yeah,
That was pretty.
exactly. Damn, dude, that was. It was cool, man. It was a nice little like you said, it was L.A. right? LA people was the one that came out basically to.
Oh, what about the singer, dude, and her husband, Swiss Beats, and
Oh yeah, I don't know who the fuck they are. I don't know who
oh,
they are.
come on,
I
Miguel.
don't know who they are. Like,
Alicia Keys,
oh
bro.
yes, yeah, no, I know Alicia Keys. I
Alicia,
know she
yeah,
is,
Alicia
but
Keys was
but it was some
there.
other. Wasn't there somebody else? Christy. Ah, fuck, damn it, I don't
I
know.
don't know.
But like
But
someone
yeah,
that
forgetting
they,
about Alicia Keys was in the house too.
yeah,
No.
yeah, they panned to this one blonde or like dirty blonde chick who had like a dark tan. I
Oh,
forgot
I
how,
see. Yeah, I
right?
remember. I know. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And my
I
sister
don't know who
recognized
she
her. My
was.
sister was like, oh, that's so and so. I'm like, okay, I don't know who that is. But apparently they put the camera on her several times, so
Right.
clearly she's somebody, right? Who I don't know who she is, but yeah, they had him out there too, and
And
um,
some millionaire's wife is probably a little bit upset at her husband because he's checking her out on camera. If he's married, he
uh,
got busted. He's
mhm.
like telling his friend.
Like
He's like,
pointing, like,
"Who's that? Uh-oh, don't say that."
yeah, it's funny. Uh, but
Now,
it
it
was
was a
it was
good
a good fight.
night. At
Yeah,
this
it was.
part, it's a good night.
Yeah, up until this one, and yeah, granted that one was a little bit of a stinker, right? Because things started to slow down, and the decision, like, it's bad enough when the fighters, and specifically the favorite in this case, Andy Ruiz, starts to slow down and isn't putting out what we anticipate he was gonna, and what we're used to seeing him put out. Yeah, I've seen some pictures already of his broken hand, so that definitely didn't help matters. And then at the end, the cherry on top, a fucking draw. So that kind of puts a little bit of a stinker on the night, especially coming off of a great knockout and an upset. Then we get this draw. Not bad, but I would have liked to. I feel for Miller. I would have liked to have seen him. He deserved to win. Ultimately, it didn't go his way because of the draw. But if anybody deserved to win, I mean, if you look at Miller's face, he came out pretty clean. It
Right.
just looked like a damn sparring session for him. And to Andy's credit, he threw whatever he could. He just wasn't able to keep him off. But great performance by Miller. I'm hoping maybe they can run it back. That would be nice. If not, I wouldn't protest. A fight with Miller and Bacoli. That'd be pretty sweet. All right. Then we move on to the co-main event, the fight that we weren't sure which way direction it was going to go. Isaac Pitbull Cruz taking on Rayo, or El Rayo, Valenzuela, Jose Valenzuela. Um, it was that's the fight that we are looking forward to, right? It was. Let me see. I
The
was pretty
fight
amped up about it, huh?
The fight, I think everyone, maybe 90% of that stadium was looking
Mm,
forward to. And I will get into what I mean by that when we get into the main event. But yeah, man, Mexicans showed up last night, dude. They both Ruiz and obviously, and I felt bad for Jose, but keep going,
all right, all
Miguel.
right. So I don't feel bad for Jose because he got himself the victory. He got himself
Yes.
a split decision, if I'm not mistaken. It was a split decision victory. And when I heard the score, I want to say it was two scores at 116 and 112, and then one for 115, 113 for Cruz. You know, it. Damn it. First off, this fight was at 140, right, which is where Pitbull Cruz has or had a belt. And Valenzuela has fought at 135. That was where he was at before. He was given the opportunity to move up to 140 for this. I think the height difference gave him confidence that I can take this guy. We mentioned it earlier during the post or the pre-fight press conferences where you see the look on Valenzuela's face is like this little dude right here, right? But Esau Cruz is the pitbull for a reason, and I'm sure a lot of opponents came into that fight, previous opponents of Cruz's, thinking the same thing, like this little motherfucker, and then they get chopped up like with a chainsaw. But Valenzuela, he didn't go for that head or toe to toe throw down with Cruz. He put on a pretty damn good performance, good enough to get himself the victory. He was very smart. There were a couple of times though where he got caught, and we're like, "Oh shit, here comes, here
Yeah.
comes!" We thought
Yeah.
Cruz was going to get it, especially in the very end. Um, Sergio Mora, I think, said it a few times. We don't like the way Valenzuela moves back with his head so high up, with his chin so high up. There were a few times where he was able to get out of the way of the punches. Right, I understand that almost doesn't mean it hit, but Cruz was getting close with that overhand right a few times, and there were a couple of times where I was like, "Oh, that was too close." I don't think Valenzuela like that. But when he was smart enough to hold when he needed to, and it wasn't overbearing. It wasn't over the top holding, over the top clinching, or anything like that. There were a couple of times where you can tell he was trying to shake the cobwebs and was doing a pretty good job of holding on to Cruz. Cruz he did his thing. He came forward. He was swinging swinging for the fences the way he normally does. He just wasn't able to land as much. I like his body work because I kind of, what else can you hit when you can't hit the dude's head? Being as short as he is, at least at first when Valenzuela and moving out of the punches, you have no other choice but to go to the body, which isn't a bad plan. You get the guy, you kind of take away his legs by going to the body. But again, to Valenzuela's credit, he was doing a pretty good job of covering up his body as well. There were very few clean body shots that Cruz landed on him. I would not mind seeing a rematch on this one because of how close the scorecards were. I don't know if Jose Valenzuela wants to go in that direction. Cruz did, though. Cruz, as humble as he is, after the fight, during the post-fight interview inside of the ring, said, "You know what? The crowd knows who won, yada yada." So he was like, "Fuck this! I want my rematch." So I kind of like that from him because he's a very humble guy, and oftentimes you don't get that edginess out of some guys. And they took away his belt, so he's like, "No, no, fuck this! I want my rematch." So good performance by Valenzuela. Got himself a belt now at 140. Makes himself a major player. My dad likes Valenzuela, Rayo. He liked both the guys, but he liked the way Valenzuela fought and got the victory. He says, "I don't think he's gonna keep the belt for much longer, though. I don't think he's not gonna be a long reigning champion 140." I was like, "Damn, really, Dad?" He's like, "Yeah, I don't know." So anyway, Valenzuela got himself the victory. Andrew, what did you think of the fight?
It was a it was an excellent fight. It was the fight of the night until the main event, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you're ever looking on how to fight, and they said I'm not going out on a limb here. It's nothing new that I'm bringing here. But if you're ever trying to show someone, a young fighter, how a tall fighter should fight an aggressive fighter,
Mm.
pop in this tape. Now, the chin being high in the air is something you're going to have to fix, but everything else, the combinations, keeping them away with the jab, the pivoting off the ropes, never letting your back really hit the ropes,
Mm-hmm.
thing of beauty, man. This kid was a thing of beauty. It really was. And I know Mora kept saying it too, but I was saying it with them. I'm saying it while I watch. It's one of those things. It's like a quarterback when he throws a great pass. You go, "Oh, that was a great pass," and then the announcer's like, "That was a great pass." You're like, "Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, dude." It was all night. The way he was moving, the way he was rolling those punches. Um, Styles make fights, so yeah, he won't get away with the chin up in the air with everyone.
Mm.
Totally understand that. But I think there's potential here. You know what we've seen here
Mm.
with the uh, and I don't want to keep calling messing up the man's name, Bulky
Bacoli.
Bacoli. because I'm so close to saying the other one. I don't want to be Bacoli. Damn it!
No,
I don't have to.
don't go.
I'm
Mom,
on porn. Might have been too many Pornhub
ah,
visits. Sorry, guys.
Google it, guys. For those of you
No, don't
Gen
tell
Z
them
guys,
that.
Gen
I
Z
guess I
guys,
ruined.
you don't know.
I know. 18 and older, please only watch this show. Jeez,
Yeah,
I fucking blew it.
yeah. We're gonna have
My
to put.
family's in church. I will ask. I will ask
Yeah,
Christina to give me a blessing. Damn it.
yeah, please do so. It's like, can you confess for me, please? I just said this on a live show. Quick
And
little
Miguel said to Google it. What the fuck?
yeah. I mean, I sure I don't know, young cats being like watching the show, be like, Dad, what does that mean? Like, son, come here. We're gonna have to talk.
A, a loss doesn't mean you're out of the sport.
Mm.
2 losses doesn't mean you're out of the sport. Look at El Rayo right now, dude. You know what I mean? Guy's sitting at a big time prospect, has a belt. You know they're all calling for him because of the flaw, right? Everyone was going to want to try to expose that. So he's sitting in the driver's seat right now. You know, his next check is going to be worth $1 million. Family's paid, parents are happy. Their journey was worth it. Shame on LA
Mm.
for turning on the kid at the end of that fight. He didn't deserve that.
Mm.
And I know what they were probably mad about, and I talk about it a lot on this show. They were mad that he didn't speak Spanish first. I think Rayo should have done that. Because he was born in Mexico, he came here at the age of 3. Play both sides. I don't like to say it like that, but we're talking marketing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Play both sides.
Yeah, both markets.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why they booed him, Miguel, because the kid's Mexican. What the fuck you booing him for, right?
Well, he came out with the Mexican flag, right? And rightfully so. He's from Los Mochis, you know, that's
Yes, he
where
came here at
fucking
3.
Arce is from and Montiel is from, you know, those guys back in the day. Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, funny you
So
mentioned that. One of my BFFs, so I have my close childhood friends are twins. They have a stepfather. Their stepfather is from Los Mochis, and a few times he's fought. You know, he's gone to see Montiel fight because of the connection. But dude is cool, dude. You know, it's just like
yeah.
that country or that state, city
So,
has a nice little, you know.
and the last time I checked, Miguel, LA was America, right? So all of you that are booing while you're in America, mad at the Mexican American,
Mm.
right? You know, I was just like, unless all of you guys are gonna tell me you came from across the border to watch this fight tonight, you guys are all kind of being dicks right now. You're all him. You know what I mean? Stop acting like you're not him. He just lives in Washington and speaks better English than
Yeah.
most that live in LA because they're closer to the border. Like, I get it. So I was a little upset on that because, hey, dude, hey, you guys, you made him almost cry. Did you see that, Miguel? He chokes up at the end when they start booing, bro. Valenzuela.
It wasn't because he was talking about his.
I don't think so at all, dude. I think dude. Did you hear what he said before the fight? He goes, "They're gonna love Pitbull in the beginning, but I'm gonna win them over."
Mm.
The guy wins his first title and gets booed by his people. What he's considering his people. You understand?
Mm.
No, I think they totally choked him up. And I'm glad that kid fucking was able to hold it together. If I was Robert, I would have splashed him with water. Shake his neck. You know what I mean? Get the cobwebs out. Just got to stay tough here. Fuck these guys. You keep winning, they'll all love you in the next one. Trust me. That's all you got to do is keep winning. Speak Spanish too, because he speaks it good. When he did speak Spanish, he sounds fluent. Like,
he is. I've heard him. Yeah, I've heard him.
Yeah, play both sides. Play both sides of the market.
Could it be how much of a following Cruz has? Could that be like it's hard to cheer for one or the other. We expect the Mexican style to be the way, you know, Cruz is. You've talked about it on previous shows already of how much different that has become now because of the boxers, the excellent boxers that we're getting out of Mexico, and not just the typical, you know, Margarito type brawlers. When we get those kinds of guys out here, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I love Marquez, because the dude had that, you know what I'm saying? And that's one of the reasons why we love Canelo, or I do at least, because it's like, yeah, it's because he has that a little bit of the Mexican style, what they call it, you know, the brawling, but he's an excellent boxer on top of that as well.
Right.
And that's what Valenzuela showed. And it's a different breed, really. Could that be why they were booing? Like, they were expecting, you know, Cruz to be, you know, head toe to toe with Valenzuela.
Of course, that had some to do with it. But historically, when two of the same countrymen get in the ring, the winner's never booed. He's never
Mm,
booed.
mm.
Most of the time, you show respect, right? As the two countrymen, they fought their asses off. It's not like they were booing during the fight. They
Sure,
weren't,
sure. Yeah.
because they were trading. Cruz had his moments. He landed punches. He just didn't land enough of them. He didn't really have a plan B, and we always knew that. We always knew it. That's why it
Yeah.
was a upset of the year candidate, or upset of the year of the night for us. Upset of the night, Jesus,
Yeah.
for us. It really was, because of he's only, the size difference, and he's only got one speed. And last night, look, it's not the first time Cruz has lost, man. This is his third loss now.
Mhm.
So got to kind of put the brakes on where he's going to be in the future. We really don't know now. I mean, he might have to learn a different speed, right? He might have to learn a different way to get in or something. The whole
Mhm.
lunging isn't going to work. Where were all the beat the shit out of the dog jokes? The guy's name, the guy's a pit bull. Why are we calling him a monster, Miguel? Nah,
Yeah.
he beat the shit out of the dog. He beat the dog out of that dog. How about that one? They didn't
Uh,
want anything to do with dog jokes, huh? No Michael Vick jokes. There was no, he beating him like Michael Vick. There was none of that.
they
The
weren't
zone wanted none
popping
of
up their
that.
nose with a newspaper, like, like no, you don't get into the slippers, young man. Like,
They were like, he's beating the monster. No, that can't cancel me. No, say the
I know,
dog.
right?
Say he beat the shit out of the pit bull. What are you guys doing?
Uh,
Fuck
he,
out
he
of here.
he chained the pit bull to the radiator in the back. Like, oh, sorry, I went a little too far. I went a little too far. Sorry, sorry. He had him chained to the bumper of his drum. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Went on too far. Like, no, I would have liked a few of those to expect it from. I don't know. Maybe Grisham. Grisham's the one that goes for those kind of jokes sometimes. I don't know if Mora and Mannix will, but that would have. Yeah, they were trying hard to stay clear of that topic. Like, I don't want fucking FEMA, or no, not FEMA. Who's it? Damn it, I
PETA.
forget.
PETA.
Thank you.
PETA.
Coming at me for some shit like, oh, cancel me for this. It's like, oh, ring announcer says so and so. Jeez. But anyway, yeah. Um, none of those jokes. Um, what I mean, I guess, do you anticipate that there could potentially be a rematch here, because of how close the scorecards were? We saw, as a matter of fact, speaking of Mora, Sergio Mora, somebody, I don't remember who was the one that asked him what a plan B would be like for Pitbull, because Mora answered, well, he didn't really need to have a plan B up until now, because everything his plan B as plan A has basically worked this entire time. He hasn't needed to switch up the speed. He hasn't needed to add a jab to it. Now we're seeing that we probably can, especially with the fact that he's fighting at 140 against taller guys. If he can't catch the taller dude, I mean, he was fighting taller guys at 135 regardless, but
Right.
now 140 even more so. He's going to have a plan B. He's going to have to add something to his repertoire. Maybe add some sort of, or how about this? How about learn how to cut off the fucking ring? You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
he's not doing a good job, and not to take away anything from Valenzuela's ability to stay off the ropes, because he was definitely doing that, but it didn't help that it didn't look like Cruz was trying to even cut off the ring or corner Valenzuela. A few times he was able to, and Valenzuela was able to wrap him up, so it didn't happen that frequently. But maybe that, something else you have to add to it, because again, to bring it up, the blueprint is there now, right? The blueprint is there. How many people are going to be able to do that to Cruz? The majority of guys at 140 are taller than him. Big ups to Valenzuela. Like, he put on the best performance. Got a little scary though there at the very end, because
Yes, it did.
kind of
Yes, it did.
rocked them. He went. I think it was
He
at the end of
checked
the
out,
11th.
Miguel. I think he checked out mentally, meaning he was already in victory mode.
Oh,
That last round, and he started getting hit, and was like, "Oh shit, still in the fight, still in the fight." But for a minute there, he's already thinking about what he's doing tomorrow with his belt. Can't wait
yeah,
to take this to the club or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro,
yeah.
you're 2 minutes left, fucker. What are you doing? Like, yeah, I totally felt that he had checked out mentally for a split second there. Already couldn't thinking he had won. His corner's telling him he won, right? His corner is like, 3 minutes, dude, and you're the champ. Bink, bink, bink.
Yeah.
Not good advice to all my young trainers. Not good advice. You gotta fucking keep the pedal on the fucking floor, man. You need this round, hands up, chin down, stick to your fucking basics. But we're not telling the guy fucking you won, just go out there and do whatever. No. So yeah, no, I totally seen that too, man. It got fucking It got a little questionable there for at the end. I thought he was going to get one of those shots are going to then break the foundation. You see him wiggle. He's been knocked out.
Mhm.
Hey, there's an example of someone getting a TKO loss. Jared Anderson, I'm saying for him. And then he comes back, El Rayo comes back and takes some good punches from Pitbull. So maybe it's not all over for Jared. You know what I'm saying? He come back from that TKO loss himself. So excellent fight. I wish the fans would have gave that kid. He didn't really get the victory like most champions do when they win their first title, right? Corner comes in, he jumps on the shoulders,
Yeah.
hands in the. I know he went up on the ring at the end. He went to all the corners, but he didn't really get that first emotion that most. It's like he didn't think he won. I don't know. Were they all like, "It was a close fight, bro"? Did they just come here? I'm
Yeah.
just get you wet. No, I don't know if we won this. So maybe his corner was even questioning the victory. You know
Well,
what I'm saying?
maybe they were questioning the reaction of the crowd. Maybe like once they heard, they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh shit, let's just keep it." Because who was it? Famously, Marvin Hagler, when he won his middleweight title, it was in the UK against a UK fighter, and they were throwing shit at him. Right? They were throwing fucking beer
Oh yeah,
bottles
yeah,
up, and he
yeah, yeah,
basically
yeah.
got that fuck out of the way. He had to leave. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they would have been to that extent. But we are, in Los Angeles with a bunch of fucking Mexicans, right? So if things don't like it, they're like, throwing the Tecate bottles at his ass for all we fucking know. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that was the direction, and maybe Garcia kind of read that, because as soon as the announcement was announced, Valenzuela drops to his knees and he's like, "Fuck yeah, right," and he blah, blah,
Yeah, then
blah.
they explode.
Yeah, then
Then
they
they
explode.
explode.
I think
Yep.
after that, I think maybe Garcia was like, "I'm not liking the way these fucking crowds are reacting, so let's not, put him on my shoulders." I don't know, man. Maybe that was the case. After, I think if I remember correctly, it was the 11th round where Pitbull hurt Valenzuela and had him reeling towards the end of that round. In the
Mhm.
next round, I'm not sure if I kind of sense that urgency from Cruz. Like, maybe he sensed that Valenzuela did recover in that 1 minute rest, or I don't know what the fuck it was. But I was expecting Cruz to come out like guns blazing in that 12th round because of how badly he hurt
That
Valenzuela in 11th. Did he drop the ball there?
Yes, the young man Valenzuela not only had the height and the reach, he had perfect movement last night. That half step back with the combination, the countering, the uppercut. He
Mhm.
didn't. Cruz didn't know where it was coming from, how it was coming. He's getting, you know what I mean? Like, no, I thought the pivoting that he was showing, the angles, he had everything going for him. Like I said, Mora wasn't lying how many times he said this is beautiful. He says it like 4 or 5 times in a 12-round fight. That tells you everything of what one guy's doing in that ring. Mora is an ex-boxer. He's a boxer. Mora wasn't like a face first kind of guy. He had to use the ring too. He had to use skills more than power to win his fights. Beat a tremendous fighter in Vernon Forrest. So it's El Rayo last night.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's his performance. I don't know if Cruz is good enough to get in the ring with someone like that. And that's where now we have to look at him matched up against the other boxers, right? And go, how would you have looked against Shakur, right? How would you have
Mhm.
looked against Vasily, right? Because these guys they're gonna hit angles on you, dude. They're not standing right in front of you for you to lunge in with that big, left hook or the looping ass right hand, that you start from down here. You know what you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You see the workouts that Lomachenko does. He's hitting fucking blinking lights at a split second. What do you think he's seeing when your fucking fist is, down all the way by your ass before you start throwing it?
Telegraphing the shit out of every punch. Yeah.
Yeah. So that I think it was Valenzuela's performance last night more than what Pit Cruz did wrong. I just don't. I think
Mhm.
the best Pit Cruz couldn't beat Valenzuela.
Well, I mean, that was what we saw, right? I mean, that this is it was oddly, it was Cruz doing what Cruz does best. It's
Yeah.
coming forward, throwing the punches, and that still didn't work. So
Yeah.
I
And
it
he
was.
landed. And he
Oh, that's
landed
right. That's
some.
right. And he landed some. Yeah, exactly. He was able to. Valenzuela was able to take the shots. Even him being naturally 135 or prior to this being 135, moving up to 140 and being able to take Cruz's shots. Who people like Rolly Romero weren't able to. He was flopping all over
Right.
the fucking place. So showed some chin there. Um, how does that? I guess where would that put Valenzuela right now? Like I'm anticipating a rematch, right? But let's go a different route. Let's say a rematch doesn't happen. Cruz goes in another direction for whatever the fuck reason. They lowball him on money. I don't know, whatever. And Valenzuela proceeds and continues to ascend in his career. Haney most likely is going to 147, right? One Telfimo, Josh Taylor. What do we think? What do you think we're looking at for like potentially a next major fight for Valenzuela?
It would probably be a unification match. The thing is who is His Excellency working with? Is he gonna bring in Devin Haney and make him the face of 140? Is Go ahead.
What's that? Paro, the Australian dude, right? Who beat right?
Yes, yes.
Maybe
He's a
I don't know.
IBF title. Yeah, because now that's a title shot that you think His Excellency would be interested in if he was wanting to make El Rayo a bigger
Mhm.
champ, right? That's a winnable fight for him. And matter of fact, for either guy, walks away with two titles and two um good opponents, well-known names on
Yeah,
their record, right?
they earned those
Matisse,
belts. They earned those
yeah.
fucking belts. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a fight I think His Excellency should look at before the other ones. Telefimo's already got a fight scheduled.
Um. Oh, does
No,
he?
or did he just go through one? He just had one on.
Well, he just had one. Yeah, he just had one.
Yeah, so
But
he just had one. So I don't know what his time. Well, they are on a time schedule. It's really what His Excellency wants to do with El Rayo. But if I was him, I would maybe try to build something because dude, those skills that he was showing, obviously they got to get someone in there to work on the what they're his flaw about keeping staying up head too high. Also, he was saying he wasn't moving out of the line, right? He
mhm,
wasn't
mhm.
giving enough angles with the head. They got to work on that, and he might have a future. He might. It was a thing of beauty last night, you know.
Mhm.
Who knows
Did,
if go ahead.
oh, did you see that uppercut where he actually stunned? What's his name?
Yes, eighth
Cruz.
round,
And
eighth
yeah,
round.
and granted, Cruz came back immediately, but it's like,
Right.
damn, we haven't seen Cruz like that. I mean, Gervonta couldn't do that shit, and I know that was like a more last minute replacement type of thing. So maybe Gervonta just wasn't ready, whatever. But like we hadn't seen Cruz get stunned like that. Yeah, he's been hurt. Yeah, he's been hit. I'm not gonna say he hasn't been hit, but like at least in recent years, since coming on the scene and people knowing who Cruz's name is, like that caught him, dude. That shit was clean. Like you can
One
see that the fucking like the neck muscles are like keeping the fucking head on his shoulders because of how bad that landed. And again, Cruz came back immediately after that. But it's like, oh shit, he's not he's not the Pitbull. I mean, he is, but he's not the machine. He can be hurt.
and he didn't throw that punch enough. The uppercut to
Ah,
the
yes,
yeah, to the
yeah.
body, he didn't
Hmm.
do that enough. Um where else was I going to go with that? Damn it, I forgot what I was just going to say. Gosh darn it.
Talking about Pitbull, right?
Yeah, no, I was talking about
Oh,
Arayo. I
oh,
forgot what
okay,
I forgot what I was gonna say about the future with him. Um, but it really is. Oh, Gervonta, this is
okay.
my advice
Hmm.
to Arayo. That moving your head, not moving your head out of line. We've seen another good boxer with tremendous power, tremendous left hook, speed and power. Gervonta schooled the fuck out of him because he doesn't move his head either. Named Ryan Garcia. You remember when Javante, he shows everyone in one of his highlight reels, he's like, look, he never moves his head or he drops his hand. His trainer sees it and Javante see it. And then the night of the fight, they fucking use it against Ryan all day. They beat his ass with it.
Mm.
Valenzuela needs to watch out before you fight the elite fighters with the elite trainers, what Gervonta and his trainer now seem to be where they're at in the game. You can't fight these guys yet because they're going to see that you don't move your head and he's going to set you up from round one, round two to round, and you're going to get knocked out. So all those punches that you were taking from Pitbull, they say that guy Gervonta Davis might be the hardest puncher in the game. So stay the fuck away from Gervonta until you learn how to move your head, because yeah, they exploit fucking weaknesses really fast over there. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of times. I think one of the times that that he did get hurt was because he was, I mean, he was moving his head, but it was like straight back in a straight line, and Cruz was able to land that fucking straight and the straight right hand, and that's the one that initially hurt him in that 11th round, just because he was moving back in that straight line and it wasn't off to any direction or anything like that. But damn, besides that, it was near a good enough performance to get himself the victory, but near perfect because
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
that was gross. To echo what you and Sergio Mora were saying, like what a beauty, right? I wish I would that would be this would be a good way to like teach people. And my brother-in-law was talking about it as well. He was like, it's basically like a tall Evander Holyfield and a short Mike Tyson. You know, like watch that fight. Watch how Holyfield was able to
The
land the shots and stuff.
the way he pivoted off the ropes, he would go get back into the middle of the ring, but
Mm.
not move backwards. He would just pivot around Cruz and then hit him with the combo, half step back, hit him with the combo, half step back. And Cruz is just trying, he's trying, but he's a half step too far away every single time because he's already 7 inches away. Now you're doing that half step back, bap, 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 half step back. And he did that almost all the way to the other side of the ring.
Yeah.
The fuck, he's schooling you. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Cruz just he's trying, but he couldn't get in. He sometimes he did, but overall,
Mhm. Not
that was the
enough. It was not
technique.
enough. Yeah.
That was the technique that was killing Cruz all day on the offense. Just beautiful movement. And the reach advantage. 7 inches gotta be still, it's a nice reach advantage.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think how likely do you think there is
If a
how
man
likely
has 7 inches on you in the room, Miguel, you are not a big man in that room. Just saying, people.
uh,
I'm just saying, I'm keeping it real.
talking about reach, guys?
You're 7, he's 7 more. You're fucked.
Yeah. Agreed. Uh,
Agreed.
how likely do you think uh,
Hey, the coffee kicked in. See,
yeah,
you're nervous. I know
uh,
you were, dude.
you're like at the
Oh,
beginning of the show you're like I need some coffee, fuck. Like, all right, let's get some coffee in you. Let's get talking about Bukakis again. Let's go back into that. uh, but
oh shit.
watch it
Wait,
now.
no go.
You got a white shirt.
Yeah, yeah.
You're in a nice white shirt. How likely do you think it is that we're gonna get a rematch between these guys? Do you think maybe Robert Garcia is like, hey, dude, like, no, we got the belt, fuck it, let's just move forward, like, fuck this shit, or are we saying, yeah, maybe Ali, or like, I was pronouncing it, Turkey, His Excellency says, you know what, this is a close enough fight, we're gonna get a rematch.
Yeah, that's where it goes back to him, what he wants to do. But if I'm Garcia and Valenzuela's team, we might be moving on. We
Mm,
might be. It matters the money, and it matters who's asking to fight. Because seriously, it wasn't that hard of a fight for him. It really wasn't. I think the rematch might even be easier because they're going to capitalize on what already worked, right? If
mm.
they're smart, they're going to just add on to what it was already working. That should give them more success than the first time. So I Cruz is still an option because you already have the victory. You already know how to beat him,
Mm.
right? But you're taking in everyone else's, and when you're saying you're taking in everyone else's offer, who knows where that lands? Because now we're talking about money, right? So yeah, that's where I'm at. And His Excellency might not want Cruz. He might go, no, I'll pay you more if you fight this guy Telefimo. I've been talking to Bob,
Mm.
this week, and we want to get Telefimo now in the Rehad season. Where is Telefimo, man? Why are they
He
dogging my
wasn't there.
boy?
I thought I saw they
I hope he was, but I mean, why aren't they talking about him? Why isn't His
oh, gotcha.
Excellency going, I want to see Haney and Lopez? You know what I mean? I want to see Lopez and Garcia.
Yeah, no, good question. Because I thought I saw, like him. I don't know if he was he there? Shit, I could have sworn he was
I
there.
didn't
Maybe.
see him last night. I didn't see him last night at the fight. No, sir.
Okay, maybe I'm tripping. Because I thought I saw like a post or something of like him, and I was like, oh shit. And it was just maybe it was just something that popped up on my feed. Maybe it wasn't necessarily him at the arena or anything like that. But Teo, yeah,
And where is Bob at with his promoting skills? Shouldn't he have a ticket for Telefimo? I mean, Telefimo's like one of his last cash cows, man. The kid, he's done good for Top Rank. You'd think you'd want him out there getting some big fights.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, nothing that I see is showing him. All right, so maybe he wasn't there. Fuck, I don't know, but yeah. Oh well. But yeah, I mean that. I would have liked for them to maybe mention that. It's something immediately after the either like rematch. Well, we know Pitbull was already talking about the rematch, but seeing what's next for Valenzuela. The sky's the limit from here. Just go ahead and
Yeah.
continue going upward. And now he got himself a belt. He has himself some hardware. He has himself a little bit of bargaining power, bargaining chip in that belt to get himself a nice maybe collect another belt. Sorry, Sam. My apologies, Sam Navajo, our homie in Australia. But
You're
if
already
he goes
writing
after
Pyro
Power,
off.
if he's already, I'm already kind of riding Power off. He's
Damn it.
kind of the sitting duck at 140. I mean, he did performance of a lifetime right against Matias. I can't pronounce his last name,
Yes,
but
yeah.
yeah, I don't know against Rayo. Well, we'll see, I guess, but had to throw that one out there because that's a pretty good unification by between the two dudes, and it'll make one of those guys for sure. All right, moving on to the main event, the main course, the steak. We already had our little appetizer. We had our mozzarella sticks. Now it's time for the steak. Uh, a 154-pound title, the WBA
Not the Eminem concert.
Absolutely not the Eminem concert, guys. It really was, dude. I mean, again, my sister came over, and my brother-in-law came over, and my dad were watching the fights, and my dad, of course, goes on this tangent about how shitty music is these days. I'm like, yes, that's whatever. It's typical dad behavior, right? So we're just like humoring him, right? And we're like, Dad, you don't understand, Dad. That kind of Will Smith thing. But um, Jesus, what you said, you mentioned this last week on the show on how it could cool things off, and it kind of did.
Yeah.
We were coming off, and we were coming off a great performance with Valenzuela and Cruz, and it had the crowd pretty hot. On top of the fact that they were fucking booing Valenzuela afterwards. But then we get Eminem, and it kind of like cooled the people's jets. I don't know. I'm not sure if I like that necessarily. I like Eminem. I'm not a big fan of his. I mean, I remember him from like the late '90s. That's what in the early 2000s. That's what I remember him most fondly over. The stuff after that, I don't. I'm not really a big fan of rap or hip hop in general these days, at least. So I don't. I hear him rapping like, all right, cool. He can still spit the lyrics, yada yada, right? But I don't know. It wasn't. I wasn't feeling it. I guess for everybody, and again, I'm talking to my brother-in-law, and he's like, dude, for the people that did go to the event, they're getting fucking, an extra added bit of entertainment in this
Yeah.
mini concert. I don't, I'm, it was so for us at home, we weren't even watching it. We were just like talking amongst each other. Every so often, we take our attention back, like, is it over yet, kind of thing. It wasn't that we were disliking it necessarily. It just wasn't moving the needle for us. It wasn't kept keeping our attention. We're over here just talking amongst one another. So I guess people in the arena, maybe or in the stadium, is a different story because they're there. They're watching Eminem live. Maybe it's a different story. They're more connected. We weren't sitting at home watching it. Do you? I'm assuming you watched it, right? Like, what did you think? I
Of
don't even know what
course.
songs he fucking sang or rapped. I don't even know what songs they were.
It was a mix of his new album, I believe, because there
Oh,
are
okay.
songs I didn't really know, so I shouldn't say that. There was just songs I didn't know, and then there were songs from his old days when he was, you know, on
Yeah.
top of the world. And the new album actually isn't too bad. There's a few songs that were kind of questionable,
Hmm.
um, but overall, it was a good performance. I agree with you again. I'm going to say it again. There's no need for it before the main event. With that being said, I think as far as a live experience, it's a cool idea if you're going to have a known singer like that, to have your date or a kid being like, "Man, I'm going to the fight with my dad and Eminem's going to be there." Probably is a cool memory for that kid or a date, right? Who thought she was just going to a fight. Um, I think to help the event out, why not do it in between the prelims off air card and the main event? So around 6 p.m., tell the crowd that's when we're going to do the concert. So you get people maybe into the venue at 6 p.m., a lot earlier, right? Then
So what at the beginning of the pay-per-view broadcast?
at the beginning of the pay-per-view, yeah, just cut out
Hmm.
a half an hour time slot and have them do the performance there. Everyone's kind of getting over they're getting in the arena.
Mm.
but most diehard fans were getting over the showcase fights, right? So we're not like not like we're all juiced, right?
Sure.
So I think if you want to do a concert, why wouldn't you do it? That would be a better time slot, I think. But dude, Eminem is begging this crowd to cheer for him at the end of this. I mean, him and his hype man were like, come on,
Yeah.
California, come on, stand up, please throw your fucking hands in the air." Like the crowd is like, dude, we've been doing that for 3 songs. Shut the fuck up. Like, seriously, like, come on. There's only so many times you can hype up a crowd when they're already hyped for the main event. We don't want to say
Right.
California, California when the main event is about to start, bro.
Yeah.
Get the fighters out here. So, dude, I felt for Eminem because he's a legend. And it hella looked like he was begging that crowd to cheer for him at the end. They just, to me, the crowd was kind of like started detaching after, what, song 5? You know what I mean? It was
Mm.
cool for 2 or 3 songs. And, dude, what are we doing? A whole set? What's going on right now? I want to watch. I want to know if my bet is going to win. My
Yeah.
parlay is good, bro.
Yeah, and you know when I saw I mean, sometimes they use like earlier in the day footage, but they had a quick like footage of Madrimov and then Crawford in the back in the dressing rooms. Right, Crawford was already gloved up. Madrimov wasn't. And I was like, "Are you fucking serious? We're still gotta wait." To like, now I'm
Yeah.
just kind of slightly irritated, and it sucks for Eminem to some degree because like this is what you bring me out to. You know what I'm saying? But
Yes.
mind you, this has happened before. This isn't necessarily new. Triller did this shit, I want to say, with Metallica. Hell, back if for all you old school wrestling fans, back in the day, WCW had Kiss on their fucking pay per view. It's just like they had some sort of country star as well. At back then, that wrestling organization was like drowning really bad, so they were like, "Fuck, we don't know what to do." They even had a Kiss professional wrestler come out. He had like the mask and everything. They were going all out. They brought this country singer too. It was bad, but I don't know. Like, is it just me, or are these two forms of entertainment just not connecting? Like, maybe there are some better examples out there that I'm unaware of that it went through smoothly and the fans were cool, yada yada. But I don't think these two forms of entertainment should be
Right.
sharing the same arena or stadium or whatever stage. In other words, I don't think so. Maybe
I
it's just
know.
me, but
Listen, this is another idea I had. You want another idea I had?
I'm ready.
Because I seen Swiss Beats and Alicia Keys there. You have Eminem there. These are pretty high celebrities in the music world, right? They're the best. They're A-listers. Why not do like a VIP party for a bunch of musicians? And then maybe have every once in a while, if they one wants to go out and amuse the crowd, they can, right? If His Excellency wanted to do something like that
Mm.
in the beginning of the fight card, not the main event though, not the main. Because look, I gotta believe Alicia is gonna be approached to do one of the national anthems for her next. If she, you know what I mean? Why was she there?
Sure.
It seems like everyone attached to this guy is always they're always looking for work, right? He's gonna probably hire him for something. Just saying.
Uh,
I'm just saying.
it's like we'll sing for food. We'll sing for tickets.
Well, in their case, when they sing, they get like $1 million, right? So they're, she's like, "Yeah, I'll do the national anthem, 500 grand." He's like, "Okay, yeah, that seems right. That seems fair. I
Yeah.
really like you." So that's what I was thinking. Maybe they could do something like that but who knows? Overall, dude, I like the Eminem. You can still hear his lyrics.
Mm.
Most rap concerts, you can't hear the fucking lyrics. They got a million hype guys behind them. They're all going yeah 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 on microphones. You don't know what the fuck's going on. So it was cool. It was just him and the guy. They sang their songs. You could hear clearly what was going on. It was kind of sad seeing Eminem sag his pants so old. I was like, dude, ain't you like
Yeah. Right.
fucking 50? That's gross, bro.
Yeah.
Pull up your pants.
And I think he probably like colors his fucking beard because he has like jet black, beard and hair. I'm like, I don't know,
So
man.
he got the
Yeah,
hood and the ball.
I don't know. Like at some point, like, are you gonna drop that at some point, bro? Or
It's an old ass man under there, bro.
yeah, like bags under his eyes and shit, or just like, just accept it, man. It's just like, gosh. But I don't know. When I saw that, I was like, wow, his beard looks suspiciously dark for as
So
red as he is.
so I gotta say, so we get done with the concert.
Mm.
And then we do the walkouts were fabulous, bro. The fucking fireworks. I was like I said earlier, I was totally loving it. Felt like a video game Super Bowl to me. That's cool for the fight. Could you imagine being a fighter right now and thinking
Mm,
that's your walk-in? That might be your walk-in from here on out.
mm.
Did anyone see the UFO during the national anthem?
No.
All right. When they show the fireworks during our national anthem,
Mm.
something zooms across the screen, dude. I don't know if it's a freaking firework that went haywire, did its own little path thing, maybe blew up in the parking lot, or if it was fucking because they were blowing fireworks all day. I'm just saying, if there was a drone or whatever in the air, they might have said, "Hey, let's go see what's going on over there." It's like the third time they've done fucking stadium. But I wonder how much that costed. You know, because
Mm.
that was like a grand fucking finale for the two walk-ins and then for the national anthems, right? He did
Yeah.
fireworks for yeah. That I mean, they caught the attention of someone. Everyone, go back and watch the replay. When they're showing it as she's singing the national anthem, something zooms across the street. I wrote it in my
Mm.
notes. I said, "Was that a UFO or a
Uh,
fallen star?" But right now, everything's working for me. Could you imagine His Excellency if he looked up and was like, "Look at this, what I made," and then the shooting star fell right after? He's like, "Ah, that's a sign. I am the
right.
best. I
I
am the
control
best."
the skies.
I control the
I
sky
control the
like
skies.
great grandpa did.
Yeah. Oh shit! I didn't see that at all. I saw we heard the national anthem and everything, but I wasn't. I was too fucking like kiddie. I'm like over here listening to the fireworks, like oh the fireworks. I wasn't paying attention to everything else, but I'm gonna look for that. I'm gonna look for that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can find it. Oh, and then before the main event, the honorary boxing Hall of Fame that they wanted to present to Mr. Excellency. Um, my brother-in-law was talking about it, and you and I briefly mentioned it. He was like, "Damn, they're really kissing this guy's ass a lot, aren't they?" I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, he's kind of bankrolling this whole fucking thing, so I'm sure they would be.
Right.
Anybody goes up to him and shakes his hand, just to fucking touch that expensive ass watch that he has on his wrist. So, um, yeah, I don't know. That seemed a little too much. Like, it almost it was kind of like the celebrity who gets the award that knew they were going to win the award but pretend they don't. It's like, oh, it's also and you go up to the podium for the speech. I was like, are they gonna really like have him come into the ring and then gonna give him this little bronze trophy and make him an honorary member of the Boxing Hall of Fame? Like, because like, even the guy who was hyping him up, right? He was like, "You've done so much in the past, few months." It's like, damn, few months, really? That's all he's fucking done? God. And he's all like,
Hall of Fame already.
yeah, exactly, right? Like you made fights happen. Like, okay, great, but longevity counts too,
Yeah.
bro. You kind of have to be here a little bit longer than that. But anyway, they were kissing his ass quite a bit, understandably so. I get it, but it was too much for my liking. I was like, all right, I'll give you a handshake and would be cool about it. So that brings us to our main event. Terrence Crawford going in here as the challenger for the first time in quite a long time to challenge for the WBA Super Welterweight Championship against Israel Madrimov. Um, okay, so we know the results, right? Crawford got himself the victory, got himself a unanimous decision victory. Um, I don't know. This Crawford got hit a lot more than we probably thought he was going to get hit. Right, his right eye was swelling, as was Madrimov. Well, actually, I'm sorry, Madrimov's left eye was swelling, so maybe it was the jabs that was doing the most of the damage. I want to say like this overhand looping right hand that Madrimov landed was what caused the swelling, but the swelling didn't get any worse. So either
That's
he just
right.
wasn't connecting as much, or the
That's right.
corner men were doing a great job on that swelling because Crawford, his eye didn't swell for shit after that.
Right.
Um, I don't know if you heard this, but during the warm-ups when they were in their locker rooms, one of Crawford's gloves bursted open,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he had basically used the second set of gloves that he has because they usually have a second set for this exact reason in case some shit happens. Not a good look for Grant to the boxing glove because it's like, come on, bro, get some better fucking.
Especially when they said he only uses Everlast. So they made
Ah,
him use a different brand and then it fails. So
mhm.
you can almost bet Terrence Crawford will not be using that one next time.
Yeah, exactly right. He was primarily an Everlast guy prior to this, but this, and then they said like, let's hope this doesn't distract Crawford in a way, shape, or form. And sure enough, it didn't. He came in and did his thing. But to some degree, we can take our hats off to Madrimov because he hit Crawford a lot more than Spence hit Crawford, for fuck's sake, right? And he did a lot more damage. I was disappointed to some degree in the lack of urgency on Madrimov's behalf. I get it. The first two, maybe three rounds, they were trying to kind of figure each other out. It didn't seem as though Crawford or Madrimov was falling for any of like Crawford's feints, and it just didn't seem like he went out there. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe, but it seemed as though maybe Madrimov thought, okay, I'm the champion, so I'm gonna get the majority of the close rounds, and maybe that's the direction it was gonna go. Because after the fight, Eddie Hearn was pretty fucking pissed. He was saying the same thing. He's like, "What kind of respect is this for the champion?" There are a lot of close rounds, and every time he kind of went off on a little bit of a tangent, he came back to Crawford. He's like, Crawford did a fantastic job. He's an excellent fighter, yada yada. But where's the respect for the champion? And that's kind of the direction he was going. And he was kind of like pretty pissed. He was doing a good job of keeping the shit, under fucking, control. But you can tell that Eddie Hearn was pretty pissed off about it. And as a matter of fact, after the fight ended, the people came into the ring before the announcement. I saw Crawford going around, kind of raising his hands, right, and he came by Hearn, and Hearn said something to him. He was just like saying something, and he was like, yeah, 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 as he walked by, and I was like, oh shit, is he talking shit to him? Like, what the fuck, damn, right? And then the announcement was said. Um, did uh, did Crawford get old overnight?
No.
No. Okay.
No. He is 36, so that's definitely on the table now, right? This is his first time in 11 years or 11 fights. Excuse me, 11 fights. He's went the distance, right?
Yeah, 2019, I think they said. So it's
yeah,
a few years.
To me, Miguel, he fought the same fight that he always does. He's just fighting bigger men. So they were able to take Madrimov was able to take his punch and started to punch on his own. The guy doesn't punch a lot, in my opinion, in the first 3 or 4 rounds, man. Mm-hmm. Doing all this, I mean, he looked like Jim Carrey in fucking, what's that, Liar, or no, not Liar, Me, Myself, and Irene. Remember when Jim Carrey was going to fight?
Yeah,
that's what they should. That was Madrimov throughout the whole fight, basically, until the end. Matter of fact, he stops doing that in the end, and that's when Terrence wins the fight. But hear me out. I had in my notes a lot of nervous movement, I felt, is what he was displaying in that ring in the first, and I'm talking Madrimov, with all that head movement, not a lot of punching. Terrence didn't have to do a lot to win those rounds. He was landing the jab, out throwing them. He's the pound for pound champ, so I don't know what the fuck they were thinking about. Some belt was going to get them more respect than the best fighter in the world. The reason why the arena sold out, hear me out, right? That's what Terrence's camp is going to say, not Madrimov. Mm-hmm. So it's an easy fight to score, in my opinion. I have Crawford. It's close. Did the kid land a lot of? Did I see him hit Terrence a lot? Yes, but I've seen Terrence hit. I've seen him hurt, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking about one-eyed Jack. All right, I'm not talking about fucking Errol Spence, dude. We're talking before Errol Spence. Terrence had been hit. He had been hurt. He had been dropped by no-name guys before. So, I think he's fighting his fight. He just clearly showed us last night that he can't go any higher. 154 is the max for him. He's not going 160. He's not going 160. Please, can we stop with the 168? Can we stop with the 168?
If you hear His Excellency talk, you wouldn't.
But that was before the
yes, it was
performance.
Yes.
He can't take that many Canelo right hands, bro. Come on, what are we doing here? He didn't look 154-ish. He looked like he was pushing that way, and we're gonna make him go 2 more weight divisions. Stop it.
14 more pounds.
Yeah. No. And especially because he doesn't have another. Look, his plan A is flawless, right? We know that if you're his size, he's gonna beat your ass. Mm-hmm. But his game plan versus a guy that he can't move backwards, at least for the first 10 rounds, he couldn't push him backwards. Only had moments of doing it, but never clearly took over where it was just Terrence just giving it to him like he did Spence. Mm. He's not going to do that at super middleweight. Like, the fight needs to be off the table. It's a foolish fight. Listen, you guys, I'm being honest. If Terrence Crawford goes through with the Canelo fight, that's his last fight. He's retiring. He's not going there for a victory. He's going there because he's going to make $20 million in his mind, and he's going to walk away from the sport. He's not coming back. He's not gaining 168 and going, "Hey, guess what? Next week back to 147, no problem. Back to 154 for me."
Yeah.
I think he's 36.
Mm-hmm.
He's 30. And when I seen that last night, I was like, "Oh man, fuck, he's 36 now." It just
That's what
seemed
I'm
like
saying.
that.
That's what I'm like. Did he get over? That's what I thought. Like, oh fuck, he got older or nothing. Like, but I mean, you mentioned you were right. Obviously, the weight, right? The weight is gonna play a major difference. But that's the first thing that came to mind. I was like, are we seeing this the decline? Like, is this the beginning of the decline?
I think we're definitely seeing the retirement plan, because at 36, that's what him and Bomac are thinking, right? You got to at least start talking about, how long are we going to do this, champ? You're on the other side going to 40 now, right? So I start thinking the Canelo fight's a fix. Sucks to
Mm.
say that about him, but I start thinking that you're not there to win. You're there just to show up.
And he said it even after the fight, because that's one of the first things that Chris Mannix asked him is like, now that you're feeling 154 yada yada, is that fight realistic now, with Canelo? And he was like, and the first thing he says, if the money, his quote, if the money's right,
Oh,
let's make the
wow.
fight, right? That's the first thing he said. And it's like, if the money's right, let's make the fight happen. And he's like, I'm here for legacy, yada yada. And then he goes to, like, talking about how that would cap off, like it would basically be like the crown on his career. And then at the end, he's like, and then of course also financially, of course. So he threw money in a second time in the same interview. So clearly that's the direction we're going to go. I mean, it's not a secret, I'm not going to blame him for it, because I'm sure that's the reason everybody wants to fucking fight Canelo, is because they know that they're going to end up getting a big old major payday. And for him, that is an incentive to go after that anyway. But is it an incentive just to get the fight, or to actually go in there to try to win? Because, it doesn't seem as though that's the direction they're going. I mean, as far as like wanting he seemed a little hesitant. He did a little bit after during the interview with Mannix, but almost like he kind of caught himself and didn't want to go back on his word and said like, no, let's, if the money's right, we can still make the Canelo fight. That's 14 more pounds we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, I didn't
that's
see it. I didn't
it,
see it.
160. Because I mean, let's just say for the sake of argument, he doesn't stay at 154. He goes to 160 and fights fucking Chris Eubanks Jr. or some shit like that, right? That was a rumor before. How, dude? Chris is fucking tall. You know what I'm saying? He's taller than Madrimov. So now we have a heavier guy, a taller guy. How are his punches? And we're looking at a maybe 37-year-old Crawford. Is the time isn't on his side. Does he just pull the trigger and say, fuck it, I'm going to 168 because I'm getting old, I need the fucking, to cap off my career? Or take my time, fight at 160. By the time I fight Canelo, I might be on the south side of 37, headed towards 38. I don't know what the game plan is, but I don't know. What do you think?
He's selling his O. He's selling it. He just went to the highest bidder. Look, the smart move is to maybe go for legacy and go for middleweight. And it's the fight that we were talking about, the Cotto Lara winner.
Mhm.
Maybe he tries to go for that legacy of being a 5-division champ. Not too many American boxers have done that. 2 of them he went undisputed in. No American boxers have done that. Legacy. Stay undefeated, right? Yeah, you're not going to make 20 million, but you'll probably make 5, 8 million. I would have to think right now. Terrence under His Excellency sold out that crowd. I don't know if it was His Excellency buying the tickets or Terrence Crawford and a great undercard that sold that place out. But right now, he's batting 100 on sellouts for His Excellency. Why wouldn't you try to do that again, maybe with Ortiz at Dallas Stadium? Right? Ortiz is from Texas, pretty big
Sure.
name out there. Heard there's a lot of Mexicans. I think they like boxing out there.
Mhm.
Why not try to sell that place out? Why not go to Australia? Fight that guy named Zoo. I think he did about 49,000 in one of his fights out there. Or that was Manny and Horn. But you understand?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
watch
Well,
their
well, even
boxing.
even Horn and Hornan Zoo did great numbers
Great
in the
number.
fight.
Yeah. Then they love their boxing. Why aren't we going out there? Maybe try to be undisputed at 154.
You beat me to it. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Can you imagine that? You mentioned it earlier, legacy. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm thinking. If you're gonna stay at 154, become undisputed champion there. You know what I'm saying? Right now, the belts are scattered because of the circumstances of Charlo dropping off. Because here's the thing, I pulled up Crawford and Spence fight purse. Reportedly, Crawford, Spence and Crawford at the time, each earned about 25 mil. That's what they said, right?
Okay.
I don't know if Crawford and Sue gives him 25 mil, right? Him or Ortiz. Canelo does. Is that him saying like fuck? Because you mentioned earlier, it might not be the Canelo payday. It might still be 8 or 10 or 15 or whatever. Fuck. Is it gonna be to him? Oh fuck! I'm taking a step back. If I got Spence and I made 25 mil, I'm not gonna take 15 against Sue or some shit
I
like
would
that, right?
take,
Like,
if honest to God truth, getting 8 million per belt and holding on to my legacy of the first 3-time undisputed, the first,
in 3-weight
because
class.
I would still go middleweight. If Lara and Cotto end up fighting for that title and there's a middleweight title at grabs, if I'm Terrence Crawford, I would ask His
Wait,
Excellency
what'd you say? Laura and who?
Cotto, Lara
Uh,
and Lopez,
oh,
Danny
no,
Lopez,
Garcia.
Danny
Danny.
Garcia. Jesus,
Fuck.
thank you,
Okay.
Miguel.
Because I was like, hold on,
Garcia,
where the hell have I been? Yeah.
Danny
Okay.
Garcia. Danny Danny Lopez. That's an old fighter.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, the fucking Indian, right? The state
yeah,
native, right?
Danny Red
Garcia.
Lopez. Um, Danny Garcia. I think that's a doable fight for Crawford, man. I really do. Both of those guys are older than Crawford. They got a lot of miles on themselves. Danny, I think, is a clear-cut win. I think Lara's harder than Danny Garcia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but if I'm Crawford, I'm looking at that. I'm really interested in that fight. You can gain 6 pounds, go up there, win a title, and come right back to 154 and undisputed. Now you did the 5 divisions, 3 divisions, you're undisputed in them. End
Mhm.
your career with undefeated and all of those. And dude, you're talking. You know how high he's going to go in the rankings if he was to pull this off in a year and a half. These 3 fights. Um, that's what I like for Terrence. I don't like the last night we seen he can't go to 168. Come on, people.
Mhm.
He was
Mhm.
at 154 yesterday and almost got beat by a guy. Almost got beat is a bad word. He let a guy with 10 fights hang in there with him the whole night.
Mhm.
10 fights. I'm going to tell you, experience is what helped him win that fight, though. He knew more tricks. He knew more combos. He knew
Mhm.
more lead punches. The other kid was really just a 1-2 guy, right hand kind of kid.
Mhm.
Did a lot of movement and fucking try to throw that right hand, right hand, moving. Terrence is like, all right, I'm gonna stick you with the body. I'm gonna stick you low, stick you high, stick you with the uppercut, hook. Like, dude, he was experienced. That's what won him that fight. Um, Everyone kind of knew that going in, right? So His Excellency needs, and we talked about this. We talked about having the money to put the fights together, but do you have the IQ to build careers? Last night he lost 2 prospects,
Mhm.
right? So Madrimov would have been a better choice to wait a few more fights before going in with the best. And I'm glad he got paid and all the rest. But if we're talking about longevity, legacy, trying to stay undefeated, no, you don't take Terrence Crawford on that 10 fucking victories. Did you win 3
Yeah.
fucking Olympics? Are you named the Matrix? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, there's levels to this shit, dude. So
Mhm.
to me, he got beat by experience last night
Yeah.
because Terrence Power wasn't there. But Terrence,
Damn it! You fucking beat me to the punch again. Shit. I was just gonna ask you that. How did he look with that power? Because like he mopped the floor with Spence, right? So we're like, damn, he's got plenty of power. It goes up to 154. We'll see how the power looks there. They're big motherfuckers there, right? We're talking about the
yeah,
Sus, we're talking about the Fundoras, we're talking about the Ortiz and Madrimov, of course. But we're like, those punches are not doing the same effect. It could be just Madrimov's, resistance. Maybe,
yeah,
yes, I'm
yeah.
sure the weight mattered, but it could just be him specifically. He can just take a good punch, but that power was not there.
No, no, he'll get one more shot because this was his first fight, right, at 54.
Mhm.
So he'll get another shot at 54, see if he builds into it. Um, But yeah, man, I totally hope Terrence. I know 36, he's old. He might already want out. I don't know where he is mentally in the game right now. But I wouldn't be interested in the Canelo fight if they're charging too much for that, because they might charge us 100. You
Mm,
know that,
hmm
because
hmm
both guys are going to demand so much. Might be one of those pay-per-views where they try to gouge us. I don't know if I'm paying that, man. I really don't.
Uh,
One thing I don't like seeing legends get beat up for nothing, right?
mhm,
And Terrence took a lot of right hands last night. I can only imagine what a Canelo power would be doing to his face, and you know what I mean.
mhm,
And really, his defense was kind of sloppy, because that's kind of how Terrence has been fucking beating up his guys, right? He'll take a little to give a little, and his are usually more damaging. By the end of the night, he's knocking you out. Last night we seen that it really wasn't working, and now he was getting hit. His face was getting damaged. I didn't like that his eyes swelled up, but you're absolutely right, dude. Fucking doesn't move. I say in the fifth round. I said it before the zone. I said in the fifth round, his eyes swelling. I seen it change. You could
mhm,
see it was getting smaller and one was bigger. And then DAZN in the sixth round go, oh, I think he's got a swollen eye. But then it doesn't get any worse. Shame on Madrimov for not going after that.
mhm, mhm.
That could have really got into the psyche of the champ. Never had a swollen eye, not closed or something like that. Might have had
Right.
a puffy eye, but never, let's damage it. It's only round 5. Let's go
Yeah,
after the
you got
fucking
a
eye.
target. You have a target
Yeah,
now. You see,
yeah,
you can do damage. You can see your punches are landing, have landed enough power to do damage. Hey, maybe you might not knock out Crawford, right? I mean, you weren't going to go in there and knock him out anyway. You're the underdog, clearly. So fuck it. Well, how else are you going to win? Well, you're going to have to make sure that you win every round decisively. And how can you do that? By putting as much visible damage you possibly can on his face. And I want to say it was a looping right hand that landed that caused swelling, but damn, nothing beyond that. I was like, his eye is just not, fuck. I'm almost positive the swelling went down. Shit, it's just
yeah.
like, okay, I guess this is the direction they were going. But yeah, that was exactly what I was thinking. The power. I was like, you know what? Okay, so going back to Crawford, he stepped on the scale. He didn't look ripped, right? He didn't look ripped. Now he sees how 154 feels like. Any chances of him coming back down to 147 and potentially boots Ennis because he was ringside?
No, I think Boots is at 154, bro.
No, no, Boots is he's at 147. He's the IBF because he got the belt that was stripped or that Crawford relinquished when he unified the belts against
I don't see
Spence.
I don't see Terrence going back to 147. There's no reason. He cleared that division when he took out Spence. You
Well,
know?
I mean, the only reason is because he's at 154 and he's seen his punches aren't doing the damage that he was. Maybe it's like, shit, there's a challenger waiting for me at 147 over here. Granted, not the payday type of challenger, but
Yeah.
a challenger worthy of at least having one of the belts that he had when he was down there. Because Boots was there, he was ringside. So I don't know. That's the first thing that came to mind. I was like, okay, well, now Crawford sees what it's like being at 154. Maybe he doesn't like it. It's like, shit, maybe I should have stayed at 147. I definitely have a guy waiting for me there already.
He's got options. Listen, if he wanted to lose weight, I'm still in love with the Telefimo fight. Like, why the fuck not? I'm in love with the Haney fight
At 47?
at
Okay,
47.
okay.
So if he could make the weight, but I'm so interested in him doing the undisputed 3 times thing too.
Mm,
That puts him how high in the American boxing rankings, bro? 3 undisputeds.
hmm Yeah, that's I don't never been done before, and he doing like it's how can I explain it? He's doing it in a different way. It's not like and this is no discredit to anyone else who has done it this way. When there's already an undisputed champ and you go and
Yeah,
you beat him, that's one thing. But when you collect the belts yourself,
yep,
that's the way he did at 135 and then eventually at 140 and then
yep,
147. It's
yep.
like and granted he had one belt and when he fought Spence he had the rest, but still he still won that one belt and he had some sort of hardware, right? And it was still a slightly different story, but regardless, it was him facing the best of the class. It wasn't like, and again, no knock on these people, but let's say Cambosos, right, comes in and he beats Telfimo, who already has all the belts, he already collected all the
Right.
belts. That's a different story. When you go in, you fucking, Mike Tyson this bitch and fight every one of those champions and you take the belts, that means something. He has the chance to do that at 154 after
Yep.
Charlo, relinquished the belts and now they're all spread out. I was going to do that right now. Actually, I'm going to pull up the champions so we can kind of take a look at those guys out there, right? So he's collected one belt. Okay, fine, Madrimov. Um, Sebastian Fundora has the WBC and the WBO. So let's think about his chances against Fundora. And let me see here. The IBF champion is Bakram Matsurev. Fuck, I can't pronounce the dude's name. But anyway, there you go. You have two other guys holding belts in that weight class besides the names. We're not talking about the names like the Sues and the Ortiz, those guys, right? The more notable names. Let's just say Fundora. How does Crawford look against Fundora?
It's a hard fight. Fundura is hard for everyone because of his size, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a hard fight, but very winnable. It's still way more winnable than him going 168. So I love the Fundura fight, and it puts 2 more titles on him. You'll have 3. And they'll probably give him the ring belt at that moment. I think Terrence would then. Who has the ring? Is that one vacant? Because if it's vacant,
well, I'm not sure if it's vacant, but it was Charlo who basically dropped.
I can almost guarantee you, if they sign that unification, Oscar De La Hoya will be announcing that the winner of that fight will be recognized as a ring tie. Yeah, put me on the list is what he'll be saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's exactly what that's the first thing that's going to happen is fucking Oscar's going to throw that in there because I mean that would be his because I'm thinking about the path of becoming undisputed at 154. So granted, this other guy I don't know fuck me, I don't know the dude's name, Bakram Matsu, I can't pronounce the guy's name. I'm looking it up right now.
Is that who Ortiz is fighting Saturday?
Oh shit, is it? Let me see.
It starts with the B that Ortiz is fighting. I don't know if it's the same guy though.
We're gonna find out. Yeah. Let's see here.
Because that's the final piece. His Excellency would then have to decide: does he want Ortiz to fight this Baccarat guy, or does he want Zoo to fight him?
Yeah, it's not. It's this guy named Serhii Bokhachuk. Some other. It's not him.
Okay.
But apparently this is for this Bokchu dude. He has the WBC interim 154-pound champion. So I don't know what the point of that is. I mean, I guess maybe because Fundura's fight was pretty rough against Sue, that it's going to be a while before he comes back. So they added an interim champion. So basically, it's one of Fundura's belts, but the interim version of one of his belts.
We don't want that.
No, we don't want that. That's the direction that right now Virgil is going. But the lesser known guy has the IBF belt, or I'm sorry, the WBC.
Who has the guy that has the last belt, the IBF?
This guy I'm talking about, but I can't pronounce the name. It's like Bakhram.
So that's
Mortsaliv.
That's the one His Excellency has to decide on because, bro, it works out for him and Terrence perfectly. If he really wanted to make that road to greatness for Terrence, it's right there. You fight Fundura, and then you have Zoo or Virgil Ortiz fight the last guy standing with the belt. Can you imagine if Ortiz wins a title, what him and Terrence could do in Dallas Stadium? Right?
And my dad said this time ago, Ortiz beats him at 154.
Yeah.
I don't know how that is, but it's like after seeing him yesterday, my dad's like even more of a reason Ortiz is gonna whoop his ass. Like, oh shit, I don't know. We'll see about that. But dude, that sells out.
It sells out.
AT&T Stadium or whatever the hell it's called now.
Yeah. So Terrence, there's no reason for him to move. Like I said, and the only reason why I say middleweight, the Sugar Ray Robinson attachment, right?
Sure.
Most of the American fighters, that's right. They like doing that little run. I don't like the super middleweight thing. So if he was to say, no, I've always dreamed of doing, even Oscar tried the middleweight one. Remember, he tried doing it too with Bernard. It didn't work out. But they seem, so if he wanted to do that, I would allow that one. But please, the Canelo, that's just a retirement. Check.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you coined it right. He's selling his O. That's exactly what it'd be. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, he does unify at 154 and goes up to 160 and maybe gets like the champion. Because mind you, at 160 we had that Johnny Beck guy, and that fucker is dangerous as shit. So you're gonna want to avoid that motherfucker at 160, right? So you might want to look at one of the other champions at 160. One of them being, you mentioned, whoever comes out between Danny Garcia and Lara. It's not a bad idea. And then say, okay, I'm the unified, I'm the undisputed at 154. I've done it in 3 weight classes. I want a belt, any fucking belt at 160. Let me go to 168 and sell my O, and see where it goes there, right, and sell it to Canelo, because by that point he'll be 38, headed towards 39. If ideally that's the timeline. But I like that much better. I think we need to really, really pump the brakes on that, and I'm hoping that Canelo sees that as well, because Canelo has been asked many times about Crawford, and he's shut it down because he says, I don't see a win. It's a lose-lose for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get any. I mean, he does it anyway, fighting smaller dudes. But he's like, I don't get anything from beating the smaller guy. Granted, he's going to be on the pound for pound list, but I don't see it, me being winning in any way, shape, or form, as far as like getting any credibility after I beat him. And that's what he said before. I hope he sticks to that. I hope he doesn't see, oh shit, I can beat him now, and now I see the way you see him. The weight class is too much from. Boom, I want to make the fight happen. I'm hoping that's not the direction that Canelo
Right.
goes, and it just lets it go.
Accepted offer this morning, Miguel.
Yeah, exactly. We just faxed in the fucking offer to him. Sign that shit. But I would much rather Crawford stay at 154 and build and get into the 154 weight class, and then potentially 160. And then maybe the retirement, sell the O in that direction. That's a good game plan.
Yeah.
What would be the game plan for Madrimov here? Because this is what I wanted to talk about, because I was like, God, I hate to, sorry again. I'm sorry, Sam. Another Jeff Horn. You get a victory. You become somebody, and then boom, you're gone. Waleed, what's his name? Fuck, I forgot his name already. Otto Wallin, right? Against Tyson Fury, gets the cut. Boom, and he doesn't win, but it's like, we haven't seen that son of a bitch. We have, but I mean, very little.
Right. No,
This was Madrimov's chance. To get on the fucking public, stage, and potentially get a win over a big name like fucking, the number one pound for pound guy, humongous superstar. And then he puts on a performance like that. And granted, the first few rounds were smart. He was very, smart about it, but then it didn't throw enough punches, little combinations. The right hand that was landing was that lead right hand that he was landing on Crawford, which, by the way, turned, was southpaw the majority of the fight. I don't know that had anything to do with it, but regardless, he was landing that straight right. Throw it more often, bro. If you're just gonna pot shot him and do one, throw it more fucking often.
He couldn't, Miguel. He couldn't. Once he stopped with the nervous movement, Terrence 4-punch combo started coming into effect. He started picking him apart. I think that's why the kid was doing the whole fucking, I'm over here, like, it was like, dude, chill the fuck out. Like,
but then that was the game plan. That he thought he was gonna win and keep his belt with that game plan.
Oh no, that happened during the fight when he started feeling how fast he was, his counter punching, the fact that he could move, he moves orthodox to southpaw like immediately on him, right? So the kid probably never seen that before at 10-0, right? It was like, fuck. And both punches are hurting. Terrence has tremendous power in both hands. You can just tell by how he throws when he hits that body shot, the combo that he does, the uppercut right hook. It's a fucking deadly. It's almost so pretty. I want to change Junior's style just because of that fucking combo, dude. Seriously, it's like a beautiful combination that he has there. And then when you try to back out, he throws that straight left, right? The jab left right to your face. It's a beautiful combination. I think it was just Terrence Crawford making him nervous. And in the end, I mean, his corner's kind of screaming at him, you got to throw punches. You got to go for it, right? They're kind of begging him, and he's like, fuck it. All right, I'll do it. And look at his face by round 12.
Yeah. Does that show inexperience, not just in him, but his corner?
Yes, because they didn't teach him enough. He's 10-0, right? He'd only been 12 rounds one time in his whole fucking career. He doesn't know enough. Knew that going in, Miguel. Sometimes I think everyone involved knows the situation these fighters are in, but either the guy needs money, there's things that make them sign these contracts sometimes. You know what I'm saying? He might have said, motherfucker, I've been trying to buy my parents a house too. This is my moment, right? You're not going to stop that. You know what I mean? They're hell bent on getting paid. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? It's just now he's got to work from the bottom again. As far as his future, he's got a future with DAZN, because them motherfuckers were all over his nutsack last night. Seriously. It was pathetic, bro.
Except for Porter. Everybody else.
You're right. Yeah. You're right. No, Porter was the only one that was Honestly, like I couldn't believe Mora agreeing with disagreeing with the other professional boxer on the stage.
Mm.
But in round 3, I refuse to applaud for 0-3. The guy hasn't won a round yet. We're acting like he's in this fight. It's fucking 30 to zip right now. You know what I mean? So I wrote that in round 3. In round 4, I write DAZN is rooting for an underdog. Underdog's work, not calling the fight, but is simply outboxing. That's in round 4. And it's the whole dude. They really pissed me off when they were fucking going, whoa, and he's missing. He's missing, Miguel. And they know he's missing. They didn't say he landed. They were like, that was a big shot. Bitch, you don't, what?
Yeah, more. I heard more do that a few times.
Yeah, dude, in the last 2 rounds, they do it 3 times. I write it down. They cheer for a fucking missed shot 3 times. Tell me you're not trying to jack up the other guy as like he's close. Oh, they were pumping him up. I even wrote in there that they're making a highlight. What do I write? I like all my notes. I want to read some of them. I wrote that like I wrote they're making a highlight reel for a losing effort. That's what they were trying to do. They were trying to make, oh, and he lands another big shot and another. They're going to take that little clip and they're going to put it on his next fight. And then all the people watching be like, wow, he really had a moment with Terrence. No, he didn't. He had no moment with Terrence. That's them bullshitting. And they're giving him little highs. So he'll be with Eddie Hearn on DAZN. If His Excellency wants to work with them, he will. But for the most part, he'll be on DAZN again. And he should be. Look, he had heart. He had chin. I'm not going to say he had the skill because I didn't see it. I seen more heart and chin than I seen skill. They really need to work on that. The 10-0 is a big part of the lack of skill. So give him more fights, bring him up right? You know, he was not Lomachenko. He never was. You seen him last week. You're like, nah, he's kind of all over the place, lunges in. That's not Lomachenko. So the guy probably should never have been in this position. Hey, family just got home. So that's I see him definitely getting another shot with DAZN though. Yeah.
So he's not gonna fade into obscurity the way the Otto Wallins have of the worlds and stuff like that. Like you think he's gonna have a platform still to capitalize on whatever recognition he got from this fight.
Yes, as long as his team is willing to do what DAZN or His Excellency says, yeah, I'm sure he'll be back because it was exciting. It was an exciting fight. I was entertained. You know what I mean? It made me forget about Rayo. I'm dead serious on that. You know, I was like, dude, I was kind of nervous, man. I was kind of nervous, you know, with the way DAZN was talking. I'm like, they better not fucking take this from him. This better not be one of these fights, you know what I mean? Where you're like, it's total bullshit. So I'm glad they didn't. But yeah, I was getting nervous at the end there. Then when his eyes started getting a little puffy, you know, it was like, shit, Terrence. And then it started dawning on me what was going on is that's Terrence Crawford's fight. It's just not working, right? At that moment, it wasn't working to the degree that we're used to seeing. Let's put it that way. Because I'm still giving him every fucking round. So it was working to that point. But I'm seeing him get hit. I'm seeing his eyes swell. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, damn, dude, what's this going to look like late? And then in the late rounds, round 11 and 12, he totally dominates in round 12. In round 12, I kind of knew that fight was and then that's when DAZN finally, they're like, oh, well, yeah, he probably won it because of this. This was the round that he needed. I think one of those dipshits said that. Like, of course, yeah, he needed this round. So, yeah, I'm cool. I'm good. Terrence is still good. Terrence is still number one.
On that note, on the the DAZN commentators trying to, as you put it, make a highlight reel for missing shots. What did you think of the scorecards? Were they too close? Should they have been more wider?
You know, they were close. The 115, 113, the 116, 112. That's not bad. You know what I mean? 8-4.
8-4.
8-4 isn't bad. The 115, 113. Yeah, I think that was a little. I think that was DAZN's little magic there. You see that a lot in today's boxing game. Top Rank does it too. When they have two of their own stable guys going up against each other, it's always some close fight that you're like, this fight wasn't really that close. And you get the scorecards and it's like, we have a split decision. Like, what the fuck? A split decision? The right guy still wins, but they want to make it seem close so the other guy has a career going on moving forward. I've seen that a lot since the whole what is everyone's been kind of doing their own thing. PBC was fighting their own guys, Top Rank and DAZN. They're all keeping their own stable. Hopefully, when His Excellency makes all these guys fight each other, that will go away. But last night I think DAZN had an interest in this fight with their guy Madrimov, and that made those scorecards just a tad bit close for Eddie Hearn.
Yeah, for Eddie Hearn, because he kind of flipped out a couple of times, and not to like hop off the subject, but I want to toss it in before we close the show that when you mentioned Lomachenko a few times, did that seem a little too fake? Him and Loma and Shakur kind of arguing on the outside, like security holding back Lomachenko like he's some fucking loose cannon.
Yeah, yes, it looked fake on both. Both of them don't talk mess good. I don't. Shakur looked like he was kind of friendly approaching them. Lomachenko looked like he didn't even want to be. He's not that guy. Lomachenko's like I fight in the ring. I don't do this right here. It's almost like what his body language was saying. With that being said, we talked about him having guaranteed money probably on the table is why he didn't sign with Tank Davis. And now a week later, him and Shakur are on the sidelines of His Excellency's starting a little beef with each other. Now, did you hear that Cepeda and Shakur was signed?
No, I heard that the WBC had ordered Cepeda and Shakur, but not that it was officially signed. No.
So last night, His Excellency kind of leaned towards him and De La Hoya have signed the deal. They're waiting for Shakur's signature. Huge fight, bro. If they really got that. Remember Oscar and him were saying we were going to have something done? Shakur is he's like a baby deer with no fucking mama out there in the wild right now, dude. And there's lions everywhere. Right? They all want to fuck with this guy while he doesn't have any representation behind him. Maybe De La Hoya got the fight. Maybe he went to His Excellency and was like, I got this, and the WBC is backing it, and so His Excellency is gonna just walk over to Shakur and basically offer him the money that he wanted. That's all this guy seems to do, right? He just has the money. He's like, I'm interested. Yeah, I'll give you $8 million. Boom, you're done. So yeah, maybe he fights Loma, but from what it sounded like, what I heard off of that interview that they did with him, it sounded like him and Oscar already struck a deal on their side. They're just waiting to see if Shakur will sign. Shakur has kind of been desperate for money, desperate for a big fight. That is a huge fight. Maybe it's done. This week, maybe we have an announcement.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I want to toss that in there because it's interesting. When I saw them, I was like, "Come on, guys, let's not do this. Let's do it in the ring, please. If we're gonna go that direction, but if we're not, trust me, I'm totally okay with Cepeda and Shakur. I'll be down for that one. I'll pay for that one." All right. Well, that was a nice lengthy show. We're a little over 2-hour mark. Was there anything else that maybe, I don't know, did you want to talk about the car giveaway? the ticket giveaway? That was funny. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about it. It's an expensive car. I hope the guy that they gave it to can afford even the insurance he has to put on it before he takes it off the lot. You know what I mean? I'd be like, honestly, bro, most of the times in my life, if I ever won something like that, I'd be asking just for the cash. Right? I can't really use this car, sir. And then Your Excellency, and just, can I get the cash value on it, though? That would take me a little bit further right now than this car that I can't even afford a fucking battery for.
You're gonna fucking park your expensive ass car in your apartment complex in Almani or some shit. It's like.
Did you see the shirt the young man had on?
I didn't pay close attention to it. I saw the weird shirt graphics.
It was one of those brown proud shirts from the flea market, Miguel. And when I seen that shirt, the ironed on chola in the back and said brown and proud, I was like, Lucid, I don't know if he I don't know if he really wants that car, Your Excellency. This isn't like one of your events out there in Saudi Arabia where everyone's a prince.
Right.
So
everybody will appreciate the nice gesture. This guy'd be like, can I sell the rims for money? Like, like,
can I sell the rims?
This
why is it gotta be the rims first?
It's fine. The catalytic converter. It's got copper. Let's get rid of it. Let's go. Fuck that. I don't need this shit.
We don't even know if electrical cars have Cadillac
I
converters.
don't
Yeah.
fucking know. At this point, I don't know. He's like, I'm just trying to get my little girl through college. Okay, guys, can I just give me college, please?
Yeah. No, hey, yeah. You know, with that being said, some of those shirts are made at the malls now. I know they have these stores popping up at the malls, but back in my day, that brown and proud shirt was from the flea
Yeah,
market,
it was
man.
from the
And
scrap metal.
I don't give a fuck. I had them too. I don't care. But when I
Yeah,
seen it, I was like, I know he doesn't shop for Lucids on a
yeah,
daily
yeah,
basis. When his car fails, he's not like, I need a Lucid.
yeah, exactly. When his car fails, now I'm gonna call a dealership. It's like, no, I got to figure it out myself. Uh, oh man. All right. Well, fantastic show, Andrew. I enjoyed going over the last night's card. I was pleasantly surprised with how good the crowd was, and I mean the card. I meant to say, I'm glad that His Excellency put a nice card like this together, because it's not just like we're talking about just the main event. We're talking about the whole card, which is worthy, right?
Yeah.
I like that. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here. We appreciate you guys listening to us talk about this card. We look forward to talking to you guys next week. Maybe some developments between then and now. We don't know. But anyway, as always, we appreciate you guys stopping by. We will see you guys next week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Peace.